I'm Christine Lisi. Quarterback Dylan Raiola, the number one prospect in the 2024 recruiting class, told ESPN he has committed to Georgia. He's the son of former NFL offensive lineman Dominic Raiola. The process of gathering more information on the latest situation involving Grizzly star Ja Morant continues for the NBA. Morant, seen in a social media post over the weekend holding a gun, has been suspended by the Grizzlies from all team activities. 2 months ago, the league suspended Morant 8 games over a similar situation. Memphis's front office has a difficult task ahead dealing with the face of the franchise, notes ESPN's Bobby Marks.
You basically built this roster around him. He's the face of your franchise. He's everywhere. As this roster goes, you have to have basically Ja Morant as your main guy. So yeah, I mean, there's the discipline part of it, but then there's the certainly the team part of it as far as how how you handle it.
Bobby Marks on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Stanley Cup playoffs, Kraken Stars, Game 7 tonight, 8 Eastern, ESPN TV.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Welcome back, Paulie. Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. My goodness, do we have a lot to do. Sean Fazende talking some Saints rookie minicamp in 15 minutes. Teddy Cahill in a little more than an hour about LSU's postseason prospects. Doug Thompson in hour 3. Saints have added a wide receiver. But let us begin the only place we are able today.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Yes, indeed. Oh, boy, should we all be drinking easy after this weekend. So last week I sat here and LSU had lost a series to Auburn, and I explained it away. I told you that everyone loses a weekend, which is true. The historically great Tennessee team a year ago lost a weekend to Kentucky. LSU's best ever conference record, 23-7, back in 2013. That team lost a home weekend to South Carolina. It's baseball, and teams lose weekends. It happens. Auburn pitched backwards. They got I don't want to say controversial, but there was a contentious moment in the middle of that game, Game 2. Auburn wound up winning it, and LSU had an awful one-off where they walked 7 guys in the first inning, and they lost Game 3. It was weird, but it happens, and I told you last week that my tone would be different. No, listen, seriously, this was me 1 week ago today. If I'm sitting here a week from today and LSU loses a home series to Mississippi State, my tone will change dramatically. I promise you that. Okay, so I told you a week ago that if LSU lost a home series to Mississippi State, my tone would change dramatically, and my tone is going to change dramatically because there is no excuse, none whatsoever at all, for losing that series to that awful baseball team, especially when you had a 13-4 lead in Game 3 after the 5th inning. Doug Thompson's going to be with us in hour 3, and my understanding, Muso told me that he mentioned on the broadcast that LSU, that's the first time ever that LSU has blown a 9-run lead after 5 innings at home in the history of this program. That is an historic meltdown, which we watched yesterday, which is almost unfathomable. Listen, I understand everyone that is leery of the bullpen. I get the issues that it's been hard to consistently find guys to count on. At times, you've had good moments with this bullpen. And there was some stuff this weekend to like moving forward. And I'm not even super mad about game 2 because we say this often when we talk about baseball and strategy. Baseball is a game of failure. You fail 70% of the time, you're in the Hall of Fame. I am okay with a coach as long as with sound logic making the decision they made and living with the result, because it would be so easy to react with hindsight being 2020. Game 2, you've got a 4-2 lead. You're 6 outs away. You've got Ackenhausen and you've got Thatcher Hurd. Hurd has closed out games for you the last 2 weekends in dominant fashion against Alabama at home and then game 1 against Auburn. He had been great in that spot, and you gave him the ball, and it didn't work. So, and it wasn't even a matter of just walking the merry-go-round with walks. They just hit him. So, hat tip. Congrats. You put some good swings on pitches. The best closers ever have blown saves. I can live with that. Game 3, blowing a 13-4 lead is an epic collapse at every level. The bullpen, yes, but the defense, which at one point this season was the best in the country, completely let the pitching staff down as well, despite the fact that there was only one error on the box score. There were certainly more that we could talk about. And your offense, which has been prolific, went 5 innings without scoring. LSU was up 13-4, and they completely disengaged and blew it. The bullpen blew it. The entire merry-go-round of everybody coming out of the bullpen. I mean, maybe we could look at and say, Blake Money got you a ground ball double play to get out of a sticky spot. Maybe they could have stuck with him a bit longer. Honestly, Riley Cooper coming out of the bullpen and giving you 2 2/3 innings. The only run he allowed, he struck out 4. The only run he allowed was ultimately the game-winning run. And even in that situation, Riley Cooper got you the ground ball you needed. Ground ball to first base. And Jared Jones throws one wide at second. Jordan Thompson can't turn it. What ended up being the game-winning run scored. Everything about yesterday was a complete and total failure. And here's the reason why. Here is the reason why, primarily, this series loss is so devastating. Because I was asked after LSU beat Alabama by somebody here. I can't remember if it was Twitter or text, whatever. Somebody said, hey, has LSU locked up a national seed? And I said, no, they got 3 weekends to go. If you lose these 3 weekends, you're probably not a national seed. And we talked about how improbable it was that LSU would lose 3 consecutive weekends. You're playing Auburn and State and Georgia. All 3 were under 500 in conference play. The State series was at home, worst team in the league. Like, again, improbable, but yeah, I mean, they had not locked it up yet. Well, now you lose a series to Auburn. You've lost a home series to the worst team in the conference. You're at 17 conference wins, and you don't have a long runway to make it up. You're going to Georgia this weekend, which is one of the weirdest teams in the conference. Georgia beats the good teams, they lose to the bad teams. We'll talk more about that as we get closer to it. But here is the epic problem that you have. You're at 17 conference wins. The magic number to get a national seed in this conference is 20. You'd have to theoretically go sweep Georgia to feel really good. I don't think anybody's predicting LSU to sweep anybody at this point. How could you? Which means then you got to go win the series at Georgia and probably win a couple games in Hoover to feel really good about a national seed. And a week ago, we were sitting here talking about, man, you beat State, you could lock up a national seed this weekend. You could legitimately talk about skipping a start for Paul Skeens. Let him skip a start against Georgia, not pitch him in the SEC tournament, anything more than a glorified bullpen. You shut him down. You basically give him an extra week to get healthy and strong for June because you're going to have to lean on him so heavily, a guy that's already taken on a big workload. Now all of those plans are out the window. You need Paul Skeens to go shove against Georgia, and you're probably going to need him to shove in the SEC tournament to get you a win there. So he's not going to get a break. And we'll see if it's enough to get a national seed, because if not, then your super regional destination, and LSU is going to be in a super regional, everybody. Your super regional destination is going to be on the road. So losing this series disrupted the path. When I calmed you Chicken Littles, and yes, you were Chicken Littles 3 weeks ago, what I laid forward was a path for this team through the postseason, which is still viable. Like, LSU is going to win their home regional, y'all. The last 2 weekends, we've seen teams pitch backwards against LSU because they didn't want to go head-to-head with Skeens. The problem with that is in a 2-3 matchup in a regional, you still have to win that game to get to Skeens in the marble game of the regional on a Saturday night. So nobody's going to be able to save their best pitcher to go up against Paul Skeens in a marble game. So LSU's going to win a home regional. If I had to bet everything I own in my life that LSU would win a home regional, I would. A super regional now is far more complex because we've seen teams the last 2 weeks pitch backwards, save their ace, essentially concede game one. And if you're LSU, the thought has always been, man, Skeens will go win game one, split the next 2 at home, you're in Omaha. That seems far less secure now, given what's happened the last 2 weeks. So, the entire conversation around this team justifiably changes because you lost that weekend. There is no doubt that everybody up and down LSU's bullpen has struggled at times this year. There's also some really good. Paul Skeens is dominant. Ty Floyd has found himself. He was fantastic on Saturday. Like we talked about, we saw Ackenhausen and Hurd the last couple of weekends be really good at the back of a bullpen. Javen Coleman gave you what you needed from a day 3 starter. He got you 3 innings. We've seen Gavin Guidry be really good. We've seen Griffin Herring be really good. We've also seen the opposite of that. We've seen these guys at moments melt like they did yesterday. So the question is, on a given day when you need it most, who will step up and get outs for you? And right now, that is a gigantic question that nobody can really answer. So Jay Johnson afterwards said, we're just going to keep on going forward because it's really all you can do. But you don't have a lot of time to figure it out. I mean, you got a midweek game, and then you're at Georgia, and then you're in the postseason. If you want one thing that might well serve this team, finals are in the rearview mirror. It is all about baseball now. There is nothing to distract this team anymore, if that even was a thing. But it is all about deciding right now, do you want to take advantage of an all-time roster where you got dudes with double-digit homers? Double-digit homers that we're having legit conversations. Like, should that guy really be in the lineup right now? Like, Jared Jones got 14 homers on the year. Dude's hitting over 300. We're like, yeah, I don't know, man. Might want to let him ride some pine for a minute. Like, that's how great this team is offensively. You got Paul Skeens. You got Dylan Cruz, Tommy Watt. Like, you know it. An all-time roster, and you're on the verge of blowing it if you can't get right in a hurry. So, every question you want to throw out at this point for this team is justified. They have not been eliminated from anything. They could still achieve everything that's there for them, but they're going to have to do it in a way where you obviously ride Paul Skeens. The offense has got to back you up. The defense has got to be able to pick up pitching, which has been subpar, and you're going to have guys out of the bullpen deliver in a way that has been very much hit or miss throughout this year. So, no other way to say it. Awful, awful series loss. Inexcusable series loss at home to Mississippi State. And as such, you have put your postseason path very much in jeopardy. 1 hour from right now, we're going to talk to Teddy Cahill about that from Baseball America, see where LSU stands presently, what they have to do, what a series win against Georgia would mean, all that sort of stuff. We'll get into it 1 hour from right now. All right, it's After Further Review, our open every day, brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. Mockler Beverage, Budweiser, and Bud Light, obviously been great community pillars for so long. And I tell you often, if there's an event that you've been to, chances are, an organization that you love, chances are they've sponsored it. They've been right there at the forefront helping get those events off. This weekend, live after 5, downtown Baton Rouge, brought to you by Michelob Ultra Gold. Make sure that you get downtown Baton Rouge for a little live after 5. Excited for Smoke 'em if you got them as well over at Beau Soleil. That's coming up on Sunday. So some great events this weekend. We'll tell you plenty about them as we move throughout the week. But we could all use a cold one today. Crack open an ice cold Bud Light and drink easy. Okay, quick break. Sean Fazende was down at Saints rookie minicamp this weekend. What did he see? What are the takeaways? We're talking about it next here on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Pluckers, Nicholson, Bluebonnet, Dining, Carryout, or Delivery. 28 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice cold draft beer, full-service bar, sports on TV. Tiger Baseball, back at it. They play McNeese tomorrow at the Box. You need a place to watch. If you're not going to the Box, you can always watch at Pluckers, either location, Nicholson or Bluebonnet. NBA playoffs are headed toward the conference finals. You want to watch in spectacular high definition while you enjoy wings and ice cold draft beer, you could do so at either Plucker's location. Baseball's postseason is going to be here in just a minute. The best place to watch all of it is at Plucker's, either location. Remember, tonight and every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Pay one low price every Monday. Pay one low price. Eat as many wings as you want all night long. That's every Monday at both Plucker's locations. All-you-can-eat wings. Nicholson, just south of campus. Bluebonnet, right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Dine-in, carry-out, or delivery. Remember, if it's to watch the game, if it's to enjoy a bite before or after the game, the best place to go is Plucker's. 2 locations, Plucker's, if you don't like our wings. We'll give you the bird.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
I think everything's being evaluated. And so, look, everything that we do is based on how we're going to be the best version of ourselves that we can be when we get to the season. And so in doing that, everything that we do from a coaching standpoint, from a playing standpoint, everything's being evaluated, and we got to see what we do, really well, and those will be the things that we'll focus on as we get into the season.
That is Dennis Allen. Saints had rookie minicamp this past weekend. There was media availability on Saturday. Our buddy Sean Fazende from Fox 8 in New Orleans was down there trying to link up with Sean, having a little trouble right now. So Might pivot, actually, here if we can't get in touch with Sean. You can keep trying him and let me know if we do. But the Saints did, in fact, add a free agent on Monday. Jeremy Fowler of ESPN, among others, reporting that James Washington signing a one-year deal with the Saints, noting he's a former second-round pick of the Steelers, now a new target for Derek Carr. This came down shortly before 2 o'clock Central Time on Monday, and one that makes a lot of sense. So just a little bit of backstory here. So James Washington was a second-round pick out of Oklahoma State. If you remember, was a really good receiver at Oklahoma State, second-round pick of Pittsburgh, and was really productive during his years in Pittsburgh. 4 seasons with the Steelers, and in his first year, had 16 catches for 217. Then the next 3 years, he became a very viable number 2 or 3. 44 for 735, 30 for 392, 24 for 285. And he was reliable. Played in 14 games as a rookie, 15, 16, then 15. So he was reliable during his time in Pittsburgh as well. And again, was a very viable receiving option. Not the guy that was going to be your number 1, but a guy that was going to think what the Saints were hoping for a year ago with Jarvis Landry. You draft Chris Olave. You got Michael Thomas coming back off of injury. You're looking at Jarvis going, okay, big body dude in the slot. Let me see that guy go over the middle, make some tough catches, give me some depth, some experienced veteran depth at that spot. So the Saints go and add James Washington, and you're talking about a guy now joining a receiving room that has a lot of bodies, but has a lot of questions. What does Chris Olave do for an encore? Is there a sophomore slump? Probably the least of the questions. Michael Thomas, is he actually healthy? We saw Michael Thomas healthy to start the season. Can he stay healthy? Don't know. Is Rashid Shaheed actually ready to be a 17-game, every down contributor? They signed Bryan Edwards this offseason, but if you look at Bryan Edwards' 3 years, he really only had one productive season. It was in 2021. He had 34 catches for 571 yards. So can he replicate that? Don't know. And then you got a whole bunch of rookies. I like A.T. Perry, but he's a rookie. Shaquan Davis, Cy Barnett, Malik Flowers. Then you got the usual cast of characters that have been hanging around. Keith Kirkwood, Kirk Merritt, Quan Baker. Like guys that have never been consistent contributors at an every down NFL level. So I like going to get a proven veteran. James Washington has more consistent skins on the wall in his years in Pittsburgh than any of the guys I just mentioned. Now, the question for James Washington is he healthy? So last year, Washington obviously signed with Dallas, and he played in just 2 games and then had a season-ending injury, and it cost him his season-ending foot injury, which limited him to just 2 games, and he did not have a catch. So how healthy is James Washington? That is a big question. But 4 solid years in Pittsburgh, missed last year due to injury, and he's affordable. I mean, Jarvis Landry signed a 1-year deal a year ago at $3 million. James Washington's deal is, his deal last year with the Cowboys was $1.035 million. So you're talking about a deal in those terms. I'm waiting on the exact numbers, but you're looking at something that's going to be in the neighborhood of $1 million. So something that is a third the price of what you paid for Jarvis last year, again, who was injured. Similar body style, 27 years old, so younger, coming off of injury, yes, but has been productive in his young NFL career. And when you look at the other free agent options, if you actually run through and look at available free agent wide receivers in the NFL right now, you're looking at guys like Kenny Golladay, 29 years old, Julio Jones at 34, Byron Pringle at 29, Jarvis Landry's 30, N'Keal Harry's young, he's 25 years old, but has never really produced after being a former first-round pick, Sammy Watkins at 29, names you know, but guys that are older and going to be more expensive. So here you get a guy that's younger, who has been productive, and is affordable, gives you another option to come into camp. So James Washington, after taking a free agent visit to New Orleans, has signed with the Saints, joining a crowded receiver room, but adds some proven veteran depth to that receiver room. All right, Saints had rookie minicamp this weekend. Our buddy Sean Fazende was there. He's with us now. Hey, man, thanks for the time. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Man, I'm doing awesome. If I asked you one big takeaway from rookie minicamp, what would it be?
It would be the first thing I saw, which is when I walked into the Saints indoor facility just to look at just the stretch portion. I didn't have a roster on me. I looked up. I said, "Who is number 90?" And I looked down, and it was Brian Brzee. He just physically, he looked incredibly healthy. He looked good just from a physical standpoint. I thought first impression, that to me was the biggest thing that jumped out was just physically. Brian Brzee looks healthy and ready to go. He and Isaiah Foskey, the first two picks that obviously they're on the defensive line, but Brzee was the one I was looking at just because there had been some issues in terms of injury and where he was at from a health standpoint, things he went through a season ago, both on the field and off the field. But the very, very, very first impression was who was number 90. To look down to see that was the first round pick, to me that was a positive thing.
That would definitely qualify. Can you just take a quick second and explain how they set up rookie minicamp, like what the schedule was like and what they did?
Well, it was a little bit limited for us this year. Last year, we were able to actually watch the entire practice. We couldn't shoot the entire practice. We were able to watch the entire practice. But this year, what we were able to see, they separated offense and defense. They separated DBs, linebackers, D-linemen, and then quarterbacks. The quarterbacks were also working with running backs, throwing routes, and obviously offensive linemen and receivers were doing individual drills. And at some point, there was what we were able to see wide receiver doing quarterback and wide receiver drills, obviously, quarterback to wide receiver. Then at some point, this is when they took us out of the room. They transitioned into a 7-on-7 period and then a full team period. It was only one period apiece in 7-on-7 and the full team. It's a fairly short workout. It's just it's orientation, if you will. When you go to high school or college, it's orientation. Get a limited sample size of what you might see and just kind of give them a little taste of the professional life. And then obviously when they get on the field in a couple of weeks for OTAs, they start to get the full dose of the playbook and just being around the veterans and everything else. But it's just a way for those guys to get acclimated and a way for the coaches to get their first chance to see them on the field in black and gold.
Sean, we often talk before rookie minicamp about the guys who have minicamp tryout invites. Did any, again, limited, but based on what you saw, what you've heard, anybody stand out?
From a tryout standpoint?
Yeah.
Well, I do know they signed Jack Heflin today, the defensive tackle. He wasn't a rookie tryout guy. He was a guy that had been in the XFL, had played in the NFL before, and sometimes that happens in kind of the veteran mix where kind of off and on of a roster, go to a different league and come back where you're not technically a rookie, but you get invited to a rookie minicamp. He was able to impress them enough to get a roster spot or at least a contract coming out of rookie minicamp. Other minicamp tryout guys that really stood out. I watched a lot of the quarterbacks. I wouldn't tell you that the XFL quarterback looked impressive or not, but he was just one of the ones that jumped out in terms of you kind of follow the ball at those things. And he was obviously, there was only two quarterbacks out there, and he was the other one. So I haven't seen any other tryout guys that earned the contract. It usually happens where somebody that gets on the field as a tryout guy, as a pure rookie, ends up looking a lot better than an undrafted guy that you signed right after the draft, and they end up kind of bumping that player. But I haven't seen that happen yet, mainly because I think they still got some spots to fill, so you wouldn't necessarily bump one for a tryout guy. But that should be coming here. If it hasn't happened yet, probably within the next day or two, if any of those tryout guys are under contract.
Sean Fazende with us from Fox 8. Since you brought up quarterbacks, let me just ask, any impressions watching Jake Haener sling it around a bit?
Yeah, I liked him. I mean, he's got that natural accuracy. I only saw routes on air, but, if you want to get a look at ball placement on certain throws, I think he had that. Over routes, back shoulder routes, seam throws, that sort of thing. He had natural accuracy, decent arm strength. He's not going to be a power thrower, but I think he had decent arm strength. I asked Dennis Allen about him afterwards. He said the first thing he said was very intelligent. From the neck up is where it really stands out. We talked to him after. You kind of pick up on that. He's just got a good football IQ, a good just sense of football. He's got a really really good sense of timing when you watch his tape from college. Can't really pick that up at rookie minicamp, obviously, at least what we were able to see. But, for a fourth-round pick, I would say he was worth it.
Sean Fazende, Fox 8 in New Orleans. Hey, before you go, let me just ask, did any of the other rookies stand out? Anything from the other rookies that maybe grabbed your attention?
Well, I was watching A.T. Perry quite a bit. He looks the part. He's tall. He's the guy that can get downfield, catch the ball downfield. Had a little issue early in the practice with some first-level shorter routes, but nonetheless was able to watch him quite a bit. Sal DeVeri kicked inside, worked a little at right guard, so that was certainly interesting to see. Who am I missing? Oh, and obviously the running back, Kendre Miller, off to the side, working with trainers, something that we noticed. Kind of expected that going in, but hopefully he'll be back before training camp. At least that's what they said that he was going to be back. So overall, it was a pretty limited sample size of what we were able to see, but we tried to get as much of an impression as we can, and that was about it over at Saints Rookie Minicamp.
First look before the Saints hit the field for OTAs, and before we know it, man, training camp will be here at the end of July. He's Sean Fazende, Fox 8 there in New Orleans. We appreciate it as always, man. Thank you.
Thanks, bud. Appreciate it.
All right, be well. Great stuff there from Sean. It's really encouraging when you say, what's your first takeaway? And he goes, I looked at my roster, who's 90? Oh, that's Brian Brzee. That's your first-round pick. Yeah, you want the guy you take in round one to be eye-catching, and apparently Brzee was, so that's fantastic to see. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. Monday shows are brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Windows, doors, siding, Relief Windows, and ReliefWindows.com. Remember, you can always go to their showroom. Walk-ins are welcome. Airline Highway in Prairieville, go south past 42, quarter mile on the right, can't miss it. And something that I don't often mention, probably should mention more, is if you buy windows and door in the same combo, they do offer a 10% discount when you buy. We never talk price with Relief Windows. It's the quality work, it's the customer service, it's the beautiful quality products they do, it's just the exceptional level of attention to detail. But they do always offer great deals as well. Ask about it when you call over to Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, Relief Windows, and ReliefWindows.com. Okay, y'all, quick break. When we come back, we'll go around the SEC. Some pretty big SEC football news, future SEC football news that we'll get to. And again, we'll circle back to LSU baseball in about 45 minutes from right now. Teddy Cahill, Baseball America, will be with us. LSU series lost to Mississippi State. What does it mean for the postseason? We're getting to that shortly. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
New Orleans Flooring and New Orleans Flooring, or NOLAflooring.com, I should say. NOLAflooring.com. All right, you know where they are. There's two locations. I've been telling you about NOLA Flooring now for weeks and weeks and weeks, and so many of you apparently are getting the message because every day New Orleans Flooring is flooded with calls and people walking through, and they've been really excited that so many of our listeners have picked up the phone and called or have just walked into the showroom there. And the thing that I tell you every day is worth repeating. You're going to get great customer service. You go Airline Highway in Prairieville, go look for Big Sean or Terrell, tell them Matt said what's up, sent you in there. They're going to treat you great either way. But when I say buy where the pros buy, what we're talking about is making sure you know that you're going to have a good, better, best option for flooring. If it's carpet or tile or hardwood or laminate, whichever you're looking for. And they're going to be able to offer you the same products that you'll get other places at a 40, 50, 60% discount because they keep it in stock. Learn more. Go see our friends at New Orleans Flooring or online, NOLAflooring.com.
Get 3.99% financing at Corval Toyota in Opelousas on select 2023 models. We also have a large selection of pre-owned inventory. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas. Happy Town, USA.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Hello, Samantha, dear, I hope you're feeling fine. And it won't be long until I'm with you all the time. But until then, I spend my money up right down on my last dime. Come on, live Baton Rouge. I'm ready what you put me on through. Gotta send my love
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
We got a lot from Saints rookie minicamp. Actually, all the rookies met with the media, so we'll sprinkle some of that in here throughout the rest of the day. If you aren't here, we opened up talking LSU baseball, as you would expect. Tigers lose a home series to Mississippi State, inexplicable and quite honestly, just not in any way acceptable. What happened on Sunday, and they all know it. The real question, I think, for this LSU team is going to be. And again, everything is through the prism of how do you play your way through the postseason into Omaha and win when you're there. And some of you may roll your eyes and laugh, and I don't blame you if you do at this point. But you've still got Paul Skeens at the front of rotation. You've still got the best offense in the SEC. When you look at runs scored, batting average, slugging, so many different categories in the league. You have a prolific offense. And you have to lean on that, Paul Skeens, and now a number 2 starter in Ty Floyd, who's emerged and is really good. But when you get beyond those two guys, how do you find ways to get outs? Paul, like this weekend, you literally could not have asked for a better setup. Paul Skeens, you run rule him. He gave you 7 innings. You did not have to use your bullpen at all game 1, and then Ty Floyd gave you 6. So you didn't even have to call on your bullpen until the 7th inning of game 2. Like, you should have been set up great, and it didn't work out. So how can they get through that? That's going to be a huge question, obviously, for Jay Johnson and for Wes Johnson. Look, after the game, there weren't a lot of answers. But can you play number 3, please? Here's what Jay Johnson had to say about the struggles the bullpen had.
I'm just going to coach my butt off and do everything I can to help those guys win the game. And there's guys that didn't execute today that have executed for us. There's guys that are really struggling to find themselves, but it's a team effort. It's offense, it's defense, it's pitching. But, we are where we are, and we're going to keep attacking with what we have and figure out a way to come out on the right side of that game.
That's the real challenge is when he said guys who have executed for us before that didn't today. Like, we saw Thatcher Hurd be really good for, what did we say, 4 straight outings? And then he didn't have it in game 2. We've seen Gavin Guidry be really good at times this year. And he got you 2/3 of an inning. I thought Javen Coleman actually gave you exactly what you needed. He got you 2 2/3, and I totally understand why they pulled him when they did. His velo was dropping. He was probably near the end. He was at 50 pitches thereabouts, and he's a lefty. The right-handed cleanup hitter was coming up. You had a runner on third. I get it. Go get Guidry. He's a righty. Go righty-righty. They're certainly looking at all the splits with Jordan coming up to the plate, and Guidry hung a slider. Kid got a double. I mean, that happens. But I can understand the decision they made at the time. But point being, I think you got what you wanted out of Javen Coleman to start Game 3. And you certainly scored enough to win, but you got to find a way to get outs, man. That's been easier said than done here for the Tigers of late. All right, it's After Further Review brought to you by Mold Zero USA. We're going to go around the SEC in just a second, but I got to remind you, look, it's spring. I mean, it's spring showers all over every day. It's literally raining as we started the show today as I walked in here. And when rain comes, you know what happens. You get mold. People get mold. If you're dealing with mold or think you might have mold in your home or your office or maybe your apartment complex, whatever it may be, call our friends at Mold Zero. This is going to be a more cost-efficient option. It's going to be a less intrusive option. You're not cutting sheetrock or pulling out carpet. They come in, they spray their patented non-toxic dry fog. Usually within a day, they are done, and you're back in a mold-free home at a fraction of the cost for other remediation services. If you're interested, learn more, go to mold-0usa.com. Go to the website. You got a 225 and a 504 phone number there, but they service all of South Louisiana. So it doesn't matter where you are in South Louisiana, Mold Zero can help. Mold-0usa.com. Mold-0usa.com. Okay, we do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Georgia Bulldogs.
Number one prospect for the 2024 class, Dylan Raiola, has committed to Georgia. 6'3", 220-pound quarterback out of Phoenix, Arizona. He's the son of Dominic Raiola. You might remember as a former offensive lineman who played for a long time from Nebraska. Played for a long time with the Detroit Lions. Raiola originally committed to Ohio State back in May, decommitted in December, and is now committed to the Georgia Bulldogs. Georgia did not sign a quarterback in the 2023 cycle. They've got the number one prospect in the country now committed for 2024.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Linebacker Nathaniel Watson in trouble with the law. He was arrested over the weekend for suspicion of DUI. Watson was second in the SEC last season with 113 tackles. He's returned to Mississippi State for a sixth season. 6'2", 240-pounder. This is actually the second time in his career he's been arrested. Back in 2018, he was arrested charged with felony assault following a street racing incident. No comment from Mississippi State other than they're aware and gathering information.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Arkansas landed another transfer commitment this weekend from Western Kentucky, safety A.J. Braithwaite, and that came the same day that they added defensive lineman Kiwi Rose from Louisiana Tech. So 2 defensive commitments via the portal for Arkansas this weekend. Braithwaite's a 6 foot, 195-pound safety. He's a grad transfer listed as a redshirt senior in 2023.
The Florida Gators.
And basketball coach Todd Golden landed one of the top guard prospects in the junior class. Top 150 junior Isaiah Brown has committed to the Gators. He's a 6'3" shooting guard out of Orlando. Chose the Gators over Georgia, Missouri, Tulsa, VCU, and others. Brown's a 3-star, the number 137 overall prospect in the country. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal, our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products. You know, COVID made us all pivot. COVID made all of us learn how to work from home, work remotely, communicate with clients or customers and employees remotely, and nobody better in this area at helping with that than Gulf Coast Office Products. Maybe it's an interactive whiteboard. You can learn more at their website, gcopnet.com, gcopnet.com. If you need office equipment, Gulf Coast Office Products can help. They'll always get to you same day, worst case by 10 a.m. the next day. That's at Gulf Coast Office Products. Official office equipment provider, the LSU Tigers, the New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, and ULL Raging Cajuns. All right, it's After Further Review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here on this Monday edition of AFR. Talking a lot of baseball today and a lot of Saints rookie minicamp. If you missed it, Saints have added a wide receiver, James Washington, a free agent who spent last year in Dallas, played just 2 games. Began his career, first 4 seasons in Pittsburgh, was a really productive receiver early in his career. But Saints are going to get him on the cheap and add some experience, some veteran experience to that receiver room. Let me knock out a quick break, wrap up hour number 1. Teddy Cahill in 30 minutes from right now, Baseball America. We'll talk about how much this series loss dinged LSU in postseason projections. Doug Thompson in hour number 3. How do the Tigers get this thing turned around? Ton to do. Glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
So our Mother's Day tradition on Saturday before Mother's Day is we go by Clegg's Nursery. Did that on Saturday. Woke up, had our coffee, went over to Clegg's on Segan, and boy, did we clean up. Erica bought she loved the knockout roses and dippledinas primarily. And we went home, but we needed soil, so we got bags of soil. We got the flowers, loaded up the cart. I actually needed a couple of floodlights for outside as well. We picked those up at Clegg's. Remember, I tell you all the time, if they're part of a True Value hardware store, so whatever you'd need at a True Value hardware store, you can also get at Clegg's Nursery. So we got that. Remember, I've told you for years about their mosquito eradicator. It's got a new name now. It's called Aeon. It's like AION. Same thing. Tube the size of a track baton, fill it with water, shake it up, put it on your property line. You're done with mosquitoes 90 days at a time. It's $25. Trust me, if you have mosquitoes, I don't lock it out. They got it all for you at Clegg's. Beautiful flowers, full greenhouses, great people. It's Clegg's. Buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. The system failed again. Not once, not twice, but 3 separate times. A man out on bond on a rape charge is accused of beating up his girlfriend. Despite an active arrest warrant, no one apparently bothered to check the system. And the suspect wasn't booked on the warrant despite making 3 separate court appearances. Find out what the district attorney had to say about this. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
Turn my music high, 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 yeah. You don't know what you're doing. Sure I do. I'm from the streets where the hood can swallow on me. Bullets will follow on me. There's so much that you can run the slalom. The cops comb this top to bottom. They say that we are prone to violence, but it's home sweet home. With personalities clash and chrome meets chrome. Prices up and down like this Wall Street.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look.
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2640.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
So Matt Ryan is joining CBS Sports as an analyst. He did know there was a graphic that he released earlier today. He did note, though, in his tweet, excited to join the CBS family, but noted, P.S., this is not a retirement post. So Matt Ryan joins CBS Sports as an analyst. Look, he was terrible last year. Matt Ryan former MVP quarterback, had the Falcons in the Super Bowl. We know the whole thing, 28-3. He's a really good player for a long time. And last year was with the Colts, got benched on multiple occasions. He's done. Matt Ryan just done. He says it's not a retirement post. He still wants to play. I don't know who realistically is going to give him that chance to play, but it's the NFL. It's a quarterback-starved league. You got to have a quarterback. If you don't have a quarterback, you don't have a chance. So maybe someone takes a shot on him as a guy late in his career who might be able to function in an offense or be a backup, whatever. But 15 seasons in the NFL, really bad last year, uncertain future. But when his NFL career does end, he'll be an analyst for CBS Sports. It's interesting. There's sort of two takeaways. Number one, every network, of course, is trying to find their Tony Romo. Now, coincidentally, Romo is with CBS. So Matt Ryan isn't going to CBS to take Tony Romo's job because Tony Romo has that job as the lead analyst with Jim Nantz. So he will be a number 2, a number 3, somewhere down the line. But I think you're seeing more and more of this, and part of the appeal of quarterbacks, especially recently retired quarterbacks, and this was the benefit with Romo, is a lot of the players, the coaches, the schemes currently in the NFL. Like when you are fresh out of it, you've been game planning against all these guys, so you know their tendencies. The further removed you get, the more distanced you are from the guys playing, the less that pops. I think that's some of the issues that Tony Romo is still having, or is having now as he evolves in his career, is when he may be able to call a play. Maybe that was a big thing when Tony Romo was first calling games. He was predicting plays. Well, this was a guy that had just been studying film every week in and week out of teams, game planning. Well, the further removed you get from that, the less nuance you may understand or be aware of. So I don't know, maybe there's merit to Matt Ryan right out of his career jumping into the booth. We'll see how he does. But what's interesting to me is I'm curious. I always find this interesting whenever analysts leave the field and they jump into the booth and how certain fan bases react to him. So the Saints and the Falcons have no love lost. We know that. The Saints hate the Falcons hate the Saints. It's all that stuff. Saints fans hate Falcons fans. The Falcons fan, singular, hates the Saints. But Matt Ryan, I don't necessarily hate Matt Ryan. It's a weird conundrum. And maybe it's because during his career he was 10-17 against New Orleans. Cam Jordan, the bulk of his sacks as he's headed toward being the Saints' all-time sack leader, have come against Matt Ryan. And I just maybe don't ever feel threatened by Matt Ryan, so I don't hate him. And also he's kind of a likable guy. But like if you ask Eagles fans hate Troy Aikman calling their games because Eagles fans hate the Cowboys. I'm curious how Jets fans deal with Tom Brady. When Tom Brady goes into the booth and works for Fox, how are Jets fans or AFC East fans going to deal with Tom Brady calling games? I'm just interested. I think I'm going to be certainly curious to hear how Matt Ryan does when he calls it a career and joins CBS Sports. But let me know. Like maybe Muse, maybe that can be I don't know if we have a poll question. Have you posted a poll question yet today? Maybe we can ask something about that. How Saints fans will react to Matt Ryan working in the booth for CBS. So that'll happen whenever his career is done. All right, it's After Further Review brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. That's WilliamsonEye.com. 75 years, man. Incredible. 3 generations at the Williamson Eye Center. They've just continued to help this part of the country, this part of our state, with all of your eye care, eyewear, and eye surgery issues. If you need your annual eye exam, Williamson Eye Center. You want to buy contacts or glasses? Williamson Eye Center. 7 locations across South Louisiana, including the newest location there in the River Parishes in Lutcher. And, of course, if you're looking to ditch the contacts and glasses forever, do what I did. Trust the best. Call Dr. Blake Williamson. The most important thing is just go for that consult. Call 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. That's WilliamsonEye.com. Muse, I wanted to ask you, you and I were talking a little bit off the air about this. So Muse does Muso at the Box, his LSU baseball podcast every day. We were talking about comps for the LSU baseball loss yesterday. I know you talked about some today, but have you thought of any more? What would you say would be the closest comp to the collapse?
I haven't really thought of any more than the ones that we mentioned, but I know, like I told you, the one that I comped it to on Moose at the Box this morning was the Ole Miss series last year. I mean, and I know we mentioned it's easy in hindsight after what Ole Miss accomplished to look back on that, but you remember them coming in. They were 7-14, LSU was trying to backdoor their way into a regional host, and that weekend where you really did nothing well, torpedoed it all.
Man, I was at that game on Sunday when they lost. And it was Hunter Elliott, I think, who pitched.
It was Hunter Elliott.
Hunter Elliott pitched Sunday. Now we think of it, again,
right.
It's so hard to eliminate the benefit of hindsight and to put yourself in the moment when you were there, but that was dreadful. What was the other one you mentioned?
It was the Arkansas.
Oh, that's right.
The Arkansas loss in 2019, the Friday night when they lost 14-4. Or excuse me, Thursday night when they lost 14-4.
And the next day on this show is when Terrio had his
correct
long epic rant where he was wearing his national championship jersey, and look, it didn't get better. They lost the next night, and ultimately they ended up hosting a super regional thanks to Florida State upsetting Georgia. But baseball's a weird game, man. See if this team can turn it around. Got to do it in a hurry. Okay, Sports Center coming up. We're going to knock out a look at national headlines, come back with hour number 2. Monday edition of AFR, presented by Relief Windows.
AFR.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey, it's Matt Musso. Join me Monday through Friday for your daily update on LSU baseball with Musso at the Box, presented by New Orleans Flooring, wherever you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, Google, and check out New Orleans Flooring. 2 locations, Metairie and Prairieville, or NOLAFlooring.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
What's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco, voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I'm Christine Lisi. Quarterback Dylan Raiola, the number one prospect in the 2024 recruiting class, told ESPN he's committed to Georgia. He's the son of former NFL offensive lineman Dominic Raiola. The NBA still gathering more information on a social media post from over the weekend showing Grizzlies star Ja Morant holding a gun. The Grizzlies yesterday suspended him from all team activities. Morant 2 months ago was suspended by the league for 8 games over a similar incident. Some advice for Morant from ESPN NBA analyst Kendrick Perkins.
We talking about 25 games or a year suspension. He better be careful if he's not out the league. Because no organization is going to continue to deal with this. The NBA is not going to continue to deal with this. And you know what they say, 3 strikes you out. And I don't see him change at all.
Big Perk on First Take. Stanley Cup playoffs, the Stars hosting their first Game 7 at home since 2016. A heavy favorite versus the Kraken tonight in the winner-take-all matchup. 8 Eastern, ESPN TV. The Golden Knights await the winner in the Western Conference Final.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. They're close, convenient, and have the parts you need fast, along with excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
AFR. Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Muse, it's only 4:02, bro.
That's what I get. I'm trying to do multiple things at once, and it's just not. It's not going well today doing that.
No, it's not. Hour 2 off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt.
You know what, kid? I'm not even in the mood today. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Welcome back, Paulie. See what you came into? Muse is still screwing stuff up. LSU's blowing series. Muso, by the way. And Mr. Toby Tomplin. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. 15 minutes. We'll talk to Teddy Cahill, Baseball America. LSU gags away a home series in historic fashion to the worst team in the league. What does that mean for their postseason projections? What does LSU have to do to earn a national seed? How far do they fall? All that sort of stuff. We'll talk about that with a guy who does nationally for Baseball America here in about 12 minutes from right now. Hey, look, there's a lot of people who are upset today. Fair to say? Fair characterization, Muse, that a lot of people are upset today?
Yeah, no, very fair. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. If my email and... Oh, Muse.
What is going on?
Muse,
we got to be better. I don't know. We got to be better right now.
No. We is plural.
Yeah.
Not we.
You know what I mean, though.
No. I don't know what you mean. You said we got to be better. I'm just wondering how many times you can screw up the open to an hour that you do three times a day, every day for 5. How many years have you done this?
That was 3 times right there. And got 2 minutes.
Paul, are you making him nervous? What are you doing?
I don't know.
Is this your fault?
Some things never change when you leave and come back.
How about that?
Ouch.
Oh. How was the beach, Paulie?
It was good.
That's way better to talk about than this, right?
It was very nice.
Good.
Way better than that.
Sand? Yeah? How did Opal like the sand?
We were better with the sand this year than last year.
Good.
She didn't want to stand in it, but she was good to play in it.
Good.
Yeah.
So she just kind of like grabbed. Did she eat it?
No.
No sand. You didn't get any sand in the mouth pictures?
No, none of them.
Do you have pictures from when you were a kid that your parents took with sand in your mouth?
Not that I recall.
Seems like everybody's got. Muse, you got those, right?
What?
Pictures. What?
I told you I'm working on two things here. I'm sorry. We have a technical
Pictures
issue
when you
over
were
here.
a kid with sand in your mouth.
No,
From
I
the
don't think I
beach.
have those. No.
Okay. It's weird. I mean, we got a lot of pictures of you with foreign objects.
You have literally no pictures of that. Like, not one, but go off.
Got lots of them.
No, you don't.
Yeah, we do.
You do not even have one.
You don't know if we're taking pictures of you all the time when you're eating your brownies and whatnot.
First of all, that'd be just really creepy if you were actually doing that.
You got to do it for HR purposes. Remember, program director, got to build a case against you in case things go awry.
That's not how that would work at
Yep,
all.
that's how it goes.
You would simply just make me go get a drug test. Yes, I mean, that's exactly how that would work.
But then you could contest it and say that or you got lost on the way, and then you wait a few days, and then it doesn't work anymore. You can.
With the way the hour started, getting lost on the way would probably be a viable excuse.
Yeah, that actually might be.
That'd make a little sense.
I know. Anyway, so yeah, I have pictures, by the way, since you all both asked. I have pictures of me as a baby eating sand. The sand in the mouth. I think a lot of people probably do. Maybe that could be another poll question. Do you have a picture of yourself as a baby eating sand? Did you eat with sand in your mouth? I think that's probably a common thing here. As a matter of fact, let's make that we have a poll question up already?
Yeah, I did the Matt Ryan thing.
Okay. Well, let's do another one.
Okay.
Paulie, this is going to shock you, but Muse missed one of the poll questions last week. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I think we're gonna make one up today. We'll do 2 poll questions today. How about that?
4 for 5 though last week. No,
4 for 5.
It's not bad, man. I mean, come on.
Except when it's a sponsored element, you got to go 5 for 5 every week. Ah! You know what? I'm in a mood today. Not just because of baseball chumping out the way they did this weekend, but here I am looking at ESPN.com earlier today, and they got a list of the best receivers in college football heading into 2023. And the disrespect from Malik Neighbors. The total disrespect. It made me want to do this.
And now it's time for Feigned Indignance from Sports Talk Radio Guy over random summertime sports lists.
Oh, my goodness. Are we doing this? Are we doing this on May 15th?
I was about to say it's spring. It's not summer.
Are we already starting with the lists on May 15th? What? This can't, we got to tell ESPN, pace yourselves. It's May 15th. I mean, you got 8 weeks until media days.
Yeah.
You can't start now. I mean, unless you're going to do a position a week.
Which they probably will.
They could. But but then what do you do after media days?
Power rankings.
Power
rankings.
Good. Mock drafts.
Mock drafts.
We are loaded up. But the point being, Muse.
Yeah.
You find me any receiver in America. Can you name me any receiver in America better than Malik Neighbors?
I can't.
Freak athlete?
Check.
Jumps out the gym?
Check.
Hands like glue?
Check.
Might even have stickum on those gloves.
Could.
Probably.
Speed.
Runs like the wind?
Check.
Wouldn't you think all that would make you an awesome name?
Check.
Trash talker?
Check.
All of it?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you think Malik Neighbors best receiver in the country?
I would.
No. ESPN has Marvin Harrison the best receiver in the country. You know, it's just because of his dad.
I was about to say, I thought he retired.
If his name was Steve Harrison, he wouldn't be number 1. Oh, but guess who's number 2? Sure, it's got to be Malik Neighbors, right? Sure.
You would think.
You'd think. No, you know who it is?
Who?
The other guy from Ohio State.
The one who's nobody named?
Nobody can pronounce his name.
Yeah.
Emeka Ibuka, I think, is it.
That could be.
Probably. We'll go with it anyway. All he did was have 74 catches for 1,151 yards last season and 10 touchdowns.
That's okay. Those are okay numbers.
It's pretty good.
Number 2 in the country, though?
But if he played for Ohio U, he wouldn't be on that list.
No, of course
not. It's just because he plays for the Buckeyes.
Name brand.
And Kirk Herbstreit.
At ESPN?
Kirk Herbstreit, ESPN.
The bias.
They're so biased. All of the ESPN bias toward the Big Ten is why you got, but of course the 2 Ohio State guys are there. And so then you're thinking, okay, well after the Ohio State guys, of course the next is.
Right. It's got to be Malik Neighbors.
No. Rome Odunze.
Who?
Paul, you know where Rome Odunze plays his college ball?
I'll go with Rome.
No.
That's a real person?
Rome Odunze. Washington. That's just trying to be the smartest person in the room.
Seriously.
Oh, look, everybody knows his neighbors, but you know what we're going to do? We're going to call Rome Odunze.
That's got to be potential, right? What did he have, like 500 yards last year?
Well, he had 1,145 yards last year.
Okay.
75 catches.
But
that's in the Pac-12.
Pretty,
they don't
you're
play
right.
defense.
They don't play real football.
I could have a 1,000-yard season in the Pac-12.
How many of those came against USC and Lincoln Riley? That's what I want to know.
I don't know.
Probably at least a third of them. They don't cover anybody.
They were the worst. I think 1,300. That's what he said his goal was for this year. And then, so just to prove my point about this being, hey, we're the smartest guy in the room, fourth?
Yeah.
They had a tie.
You can't have ties.
They had one. Tell our friends at ESPN you can't have a tie. Fourth place, Dorian Singer from USC. You know how many catches he had for USC last year?
60.
None, because he played at Arizona.
Oh, look at this.
So just because he transfers into USC, just because he's going to go play with Caleb Williams and Lincoln Riley, put him in there. And you know they got tied with him?
Malik Neighbors.
Hell no. Are you kidding? They're
on.
disrespecting Malik Neighbors. Xavier Worthy, you know where he plays?
Actually, the name does sound very familiar.
Texas.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah.
Of course. You got the Southern Cal and the Texas guy in there because
tied.
Because you want to know why?
Name brands.
The Longhorns are back. Texas is back.
Stop.
Right?
Don't
Gotta
do
be.
that.
That's
No.
terrible. It's absolutely atrocious. So you would think you get to the 6th spot, that's where you're going to find Malik Neighbors, right?
I would hope.
Nope.
What?
Not even number 6.
What other generic wide receiver do they have there at number 6?
Johnny Wilson.
Oh, come on. He's going to lose to Malik Neighbors' team.
Can I remind you? Hey, you know how many catches Johnny Wilson had last year?
Let's go with 70.
43.
Look at this.
43 for 879 yards.
Just unbelievable.
Malik Neighbors, 72 for 1,017. How in the world can you tell me Johnny Wilson deserves to be ahead of Malik Neighbors? But that's exactly where we find him on this list.
Simple answer. You cannot tell anyone that.
You can't, but they try to. They even have a guy on this list who doesn't have a team. I'm serious.
Was he in the transfer portal?
Zachary Franklin played at UTSA. And now he's in the transfer portal. All Conference USA the last 3 years. Doesn't have a team right now. But they just have him listed as 5th-year senior.
I mean, Matt, correct me if I'm wrong. It's pretty hard to put up stats if you don't play for a team.
Yeah. How do you put up stats if you don't play for a team?
Like that's difficult.
Zachary Franklin's going to try. Unless
Good
someone
luck.
gets on. They got Malik Neighbors in there at 7, by the way, right after Johnny Wilson.
What do we do?
Pitiful. Absolutely pitiful. ESPN. The bias seeps through, Muse. It seeps through. Every single time we look at one of these lists, it's so abundantly clear. If you don't play at Ohio State or Texas or USC, you need not apply. I'm stunned they didn't have Georgia or Bama on there.
Seriously.
But you want to know why? They hate the SEC.
That's true.
It's obvious. We're going to grab a break and cool off. When we come back, Teddy Cahill is going to be here from Baseball America. And we'll talk about LSU's postseason prospectus now that they've lost back-to-back series. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Buying or selling commercial or residential. Think real estate. Think Darren James. I'm going to give you the website, agent225.com. That's agent225.com. When I tell you it's the most user-friendly website in real estate, I want to remind you, it doesn't matter. Every home listed by every company, it's all in one place. And especially if you're looking in this local area. The reason agent225.com is a better option than the national sites, a couple. Primarily, number one, a lot of those national sites aren't updated every single day or every single hour. Agent225.com is. That's one. Two, a lot of the people go to like these websites to get comps and what your home is worth. Keep in mind, like, that website is not taking into consideration changes you've made to your home. So what if you've added windows or floors or things to beautify your home that could increase the resale value? Agent 225 keeps that in mind. You need a real estate agent. You need Darren James.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $20,000 off new 22 Ram 1500 SCA trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory, all with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Hello, Samantha, dear, I hope you're feeling fine. And it won't be long until I'm with you all the time. But until then, I spend my money up right down on my last dime. Come on, live Baton Rouge. I'm ready, what you put me on through. Gotta send my love down the
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
You know, in the context of losing a game, probably as difficult as it could be. And in my world, you know, this program, these players, this team, it's my entire life. And so when you look, and it's theirs too. So when you look at it that way, it is painful, but you know, we have baseball ahead of us, and that's where we have to turn our focus.
Jay Johnson, after LSU's series loss at home to Mississippi State in record-setting fashion for all of the dubious reasons, Tigers blow a 9-run lead at home after 5 innings for the first time ever. Stunning to even say that out loud, especially against whom they did it. Teddy Cahill for Baseball America, good enough to join us to talk about the collateral damage that this weekend did to the Tigers. Hey, man, we appreciate it. How are you?
Absolutely. It's a beautiful day. The sun came up today. I don't know about in Baton Rouge, but the sun did come up today.
The sun came up. It's raining right now, but I mean, quite literally. Let me just start with some reaction, because look, sometimes, you know, I say often it's hard to see the forest through the trees. We're right here. We're in it. But from a distance, what was your reaction to LSU's series loss this weekend?
I mean, it was obviously very surprising when, you know, you saw what they had in front of them coming into the weekend, and you know where Mississippi State is in the standings, and so you have certain expectations about the way the series is going to go. And then for both Saturday and Sunday to have blown leads like that, I mean, it was a shocker, obviously. You know, and it's just a reminder of how hard the SEC can be, that a team like Mississippi State that has been down, you know, for so much of the season that they can still come up and hurt you like that.
So let's talk about how much that hurt LSU. If you were to project today, would LSU still be a national seed?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay. How much does a series loss like that ding them?
It's not great, obviously, but like if you look at it right now, they're top 5 in RPI. They're, still on track to have a bye in Hoover, which means you're a top 4 team. In the SEC, they still have all of the, big gaudy win totals that they have. You're allowed to lose series. Like that's the thing that national seeds, it happens to them. We're looking at Arkansas as being, right now they're in first place in the SEC, and nobody's concerned about, can Arkansas be a national seed? Well, I mean, they lost a series at the box. They lost a series to Georgia. I don't know how much different that is than what LSU's done to this point. So, all of it's still ahead of them. They have to play better, but all of it's still ahead of them.
Okay, so that is somewhat reassuring. What if LSU hypothetically goes to Athens this weekend and loses a third consecutive weekend?
At that point, you're maybe trying your luck a little bit, but it's not going to hurt them, particularly from an RPI standpoint. The direct competitors in the SEC all have difficult weekends. Arkansas is on the road at Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt obviously has to deal with Arkansas. Florida has to travel to Kentucky. So all of these teams that you're looking at, for those top few spots in the SEC, and I think the SEC pecking order is going to matter ultimately. Nobody has an easy weekend here, and so I don't think that would eliminate them. You'd have to look at how the numbers shake out. I mean, they have to have 8 national seeds is the tricky part of this, right? And if you look at Stanford, a team that everyone's projecting to have a top 8 seed, their RPI doesn't match that. If you look at West Virginia, the very clear favorite in the Big 12 to win the conference title and then probably get a top 8 seed, they don't have the RPI. The ACC, some of their hosts have fallen flat lately. Coastal Carolina's dropped out of the top 10. I mean, all of this is to say that nobody's resume is really trending in the right direction right now, or at least certainly not enough of them. So a series loss at Georgia would not be good. 3 straight series losses is obviously bad, but everything counts the same, right? So the first 7 weekends in SEC play, the series win against Arkansas and against Tennessee, that's all still helping LSU.
Teddy Cahill is with us, Baseball America. This is actually a very uplifting conversation. I'm glad to hear it. He's on Twitter at Ted Cahill, Cahill. You'll give him a follow. So as you mentioned, Kentucky leads the way in RPI right now. Wake Forest is 2. Followed by South Carolina, Arkansas, LSU, Florida, Vandy, and then Clemson. So Kentucky, South Carolina, Arkansas, LSU, Florida, Vanderbilt. 6 of the top 8 RPI teams in America right now are from the SEC. Realistically, how many SEC teams would you project to earn a national seed?
I think you're looking at 4 of the top 8 seeds are probably from the SEC. There's a chance that a 5th sneaks in there somehow, particularly if one of those teams goes on a run in Hoover that is kind of on the borderline. If say Arkansas or LSU went on the Hoover run, that's not helping anyone. But Kentucky's kind of in a weird situation right now, being number 1 in RPI, but if they lose this weekend to Florida, they'll have an SEC record of just above 500. Is that a top 8 seed? There's a lot of strangeness right now. So I think the safe bet is 4, and there's a chance that maybe a 5th slides in there.
You mentioned the SEC pecking order mattering, and it's interesting because we'll always have this conversation around the NCAA tournament in basketball as well. And generally speaking, winning your league doesn't matter in that committee's eyes. How much would winning the league or being a top 4 in the league realistically matter? How much weight does that carry?
I mean, it's not going to carry a ton of weight. They can't actually see it on their team sheet, but they are aware of what happens. And, when the regional advisory committee, which is effectively their eye test, gives recommendations, I think those are influenced by the standings. And I think it's not something that is like going to be top of mind for anyone, but as they try and suss out, okay, which of these 6 SEC hosts gets the top 8 seed, I think that's where it might come into play here. Because some of this is a little bit circular, right? You have teams that, South Carolina swept Florida, and then Florida swept Vanderbilt, and Vanderbilt beat South Carolina. So how do you break those sorts of ties? Well, you look at the standings. So I think that's kind of where it comes into play. I don't know how much that's going to specifically matter to LSU, but I think within the SEC hosts and within the potential top 8 seeds from the SEC, I think it will matter somewhat.
How much would the SEC tournament results factor in? Or in what scenario would, good or bad, SEC tournament results matter?
I feel like in recent years we've seen them matter in less. Mississippi State very famously went 0-2 and looked terrible doing it in 2021. And, everything still happened for them. They were still a top 8 seed. We've seen, a year ago, the ACC tournament, the NC State makes a run to the championship game, still doesn't get into the field. Rutgers, the same deal in the Big Ten. I feel like there's been a little bit of a de-emphasis on the margins. It can help you. I don't know how much it's going to hurt you. In LSU's case, I think it really would have to be a deep run for it to make any sort of impact.
Would wait? So forgive. What if the opposite happened? What if LSU was 0-2 in Hoover?
Yeah, if they were 0-2 and they were a top 4 seed going in, like they had that bye, I think they're still fine, probably. I think that there'd be a lot of conversation about it, and they would fall in the seed order, but I don't know that would be enough to drop them out. Again, in 2021, Mississippi State got run-ruled twice in Hoover and was still the number 8 seed. And while I didn't agree with that decision at the time, they still earned the number 8 seed.
Let me paint the worst-case scenario for LSU. Let's say they get swept at Georgia, go 0-2 in Hoover. Are they still a national seed?
That might be enough to knock them out. I would guess that somebody would go up and pass them at that point.
Okay. So essentially, don't lose out, and chances are you're still going to end up as a national seed.
Yeah, I feel like the what they've done to this point is pretty notable. If they get one more win, they have 40 total wins. The RPI is going to be hard to really take much of a hit. Georgia has a strong RPI right now as well. Anybody you played Hoover is going to, and there's some recent precedent about these conference tournaments not really being a negative against teams.
Okay.
I think that's the direction the committee's gone in recent years. So I would still feel okay if I was LSU.
Teddy Cahill, Baseball America, on Twitter at Ted Cahill, Cahill. Y'all give him a follow right there. The last thing for you, Ted, that I'm concerned with is, could LSU lock up a national seed before Hoover and maybe allow Paul Skeens the opportunity to skip a start?
I think yes.
Okay. What would that take this weekend?
Again, I kind of have to look at how conference results look elsewhere, but winning the series might be enough to do it.
Okay.
I think that has at that point you have a whole bunch of SEC wins. You're guaranteed to be a top 4 seed. Like, you have everything else you have. So I think that would probably get it done.
Teddy Cahill from Baseball America, again on Twitter at Ted Cahill, Cahill. Y'all give him a follow. Man, we appreciate a couple of minutes. I think you have taken a very dark cloud and made it not quite as ominous over this program today. Thank you for the time.
Absolutely.
All right, man. Be well. That's uplifting. Muse, you feel better? Did you exhale a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
It doesn't eliminate the problems you have.
No, that's the thing, right?
I understand.
Yeah. Georgia's just an interesting team. They're just, I don't know.
Because they beat the good teams and lose the bad teams?
Yeah, man. Well, Matt, I'll be honest. Like, going into this weekend, I didn't feel great about their chances that weekend anyway. And coming out, I was like, this is going to stink. But, we'll wait and see. You got to play the games.
Load up with a bunch of left-handed hitters and just hit pop flies to right field.
Foley Field is so stupid.
Just hit pop flies to right. For those who like Foley Field down the right field line, I believe it's 310.
Something like that, yes.
It's an embarrassingly short for a major college baseball stadium. it is embarrassing.
It's like South Carolina's field being 380 to center. Like it's a high school field distance is what that is, and that's a shame.
It is embarrassing when you can hit a ball and it leaves the yard. That should not happen in baseball. So go take advantage of it. Just do what Yankees hitters have done for decades. And just hit fly balls to right, and you got a good chance of something good. Derek Jeter made a living just hitting the opposite way. He had a Hall of Fame career just hitting fly balls the opposite way.
And I don't know. I mean, look, LSU has a couple guys who have pretty decent opposite field power.
Yes, they do.
A couple of them aren't bad at it.
Yes, they do. Okay. Now, the flip side of it is they allow Georgia to hit.
Yeah, you still have to.
They get 27 outs each
The whole
game.
pitching thing, too. Yeah.
Okay. It's after further review. Let's hear some We'll let you hear from some of the Saints rookies who are at minicamp this weekend when we return on AFR, presented by Relief Windows.
AFR.
Man, I love telling you about Rouse's. I was over at Rouse's this weekend. It was packed. So many of you dads and husbands doing your last-minute Mother's Day shopping. Tisk, tisk. No worries, though. Rouse's was there for you. Cakes and cards and flowers and all the good stuff that you needed. Hey, look, graduation season is upon us. Got that grad in your life? Remember Rouse's. They can have that graduation cake done for you for your grad, personalized, whatever you need. Get by any of the Rouse's location. Gift cards for grads are great as well. Your grad's heading off to college. Load them up with some Rouse's gift cards so they can take care of their groceries that first semester for the summer. They got you covered over at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Whatever it is you might need during these late spring and early summer weekends. If it's your ice-cold drinks, if it's something to throw on the grill, if it's all the groceries, they got you covered at Rouse's, where, of course, this feels like home. More than 60 locations. It's Rouse's. Rouse's.com.
Bayou Ford has $15,000 off plus 0.9% APR for 60 months on all new 22 Ford F-150 SCA trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Hey, it's Matt Musso. Join me Monday through Friday for your daily update on LSU baseball with Musso at the Box, presented by New Orleans Flooring, wherever you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, Google, and check out New Orleans Flooring. 2 locations, Metairie and Prairieville, or NOLAFlooring.com.
Turn my music high, 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 yeah. You don't know what you're doing. Sure I do. I'm from the streets with a hood to swallow on me. Bullets will follow on me. There's so much that you could run the slalom. And cops comb this top to bottom. They say that we are prone to violence, but it's home sweet home. With personalities clashing, chrome meets chrome. Prices up and down like this Wall Street.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, rolling along. Glad to have you aboard with us here. The Saints had their Hall of Fame golf tournament today, and Mickey Loomis afterwards met with reporters, and he did talk about the decision to sign Foster Moreau. Dennis Allen over the weekend met with reporters during the minicamp availability, talked about Foster Moreau as well. I want you to hear what both had to say, and the timing is interesting because one of the players we were thinking they might count on, they actually won't be counting on now. First, here was Mickey Loomis again, Monday, Saints golf tournament. This video, by the way, was Twitter, courtesy of our buddy Ross Jackson. So shout out Ross Jackson, Locked on Saints, with the video courtesy. Here you go.
Well, first of all, we brought him in because he's a good player and a versatile, well-rounded tight end. The fact that he's from New Orleans and has a history, at LSU and here really had nothing to do with our interest in him. That was, and that's emotional, to come take a physical and discover something that is unexpected. I know that's tough on him and his family, and yet they handle it so beautifully. And the great news is that the prognosis is good, and even the treatment protocol that he's going to be under is going to allow him to do some things in this off season and hopefully play in the fall.
So first of all, that's the most interesting thing there. Obviously, he's talking about the emotion of it for he and his family, how they Foster and his family, how they handled everything. But he also said, look, he's from New Orleans, but him being from New Orleans or going to LSU had nothing to do with the signing, which I completely believe. Those are very nice pieces of the story that make it a very nice human interest piece. There's certainly an element where if you're an LSU fan, you're going to gravitate toward Foster as well. Went to Jesuit, gigantic alumni base in New Orleans. So a lot of reasons why that makes sense, not related to football. But from a football standpoint, it's all the things we talked about. Saints desperately needed a tight end. You traded Adam Troutman, and you have Jawan Johnson, Taysom Hill, who are not traditional tight ends. You don't have that guy. And we've looked through the free agents in this cycle, and they aren't there. So, yeah, this was the best football option for your team as well. All the other things associated are ancillary and very nice. Dennis Allen on Saturday, when he met with reporters, had this to say about the decision to sign Foster.
I've only had him here for a couple of days. I like the addition, I like the person, I like the player. He's got some versatility. He can play both in line and in a move position. He's smart. He's tough. He's a lot of the characteristics that we look for in Saints players. So I think he'll be a good addition. I like the fact that, Derek has some familiarity with him.
Of course, look, Dennis Allen, by the way, was not in Oakland when Foster was drafted, just to get the timeline. I'm sure most of you know that, but D.A. was the head coach of the Raiders in 2012-13, then the beginning of the 14 season, which is when Derek Carr was there, made the decision to draft Derek Carr, and then he was fired, but was not there with Foster, just to clarify. Derek Carr and Foster Moreau have spent their careers together, which is a great synergy for those two to have that familiarity, and for the quarterback to co-sign. For all those reasons, it makes a lot of sense. Now, another reason why the Foster Moreau signing is even more important now, and by the way, one of the other things that Dennis Allen did say this weekend, I don't know if we have it here, that's okay. He mentioned that there's a really good chance that Foster Moreau will be available for OTAs. They're trending toward him being available, that he's gotten his treatment for Hodgkin's lymphoma, and they're expecting Foster, if all goes as it's expected now, for him to be available for OTAs, which is stunning because when the initial diagnosis came, the timeline we were talking about was quite possibly Foster starting the season on the non-football injury list and then being able to return sometime kind of in October. You're talking about OTAs starting here shortly and Foster potentially being there for that, which is awesome. Okay. And by the way, I know I say this, but I don't know that I need the caveat, but I think we all understand. Of course, it's awesome from a human perspective that, I mean, he's diagnosed with stage 2 cancer, and just a few months later he's going to be on a football field. Just the humanity part of this is the most important. We all understand that. I am looking at it in a sense, of course, through a football prism, because that's kind of what we're doing here. But we all don't, right? I mean, we all understand. Like, of course, Foster's health and everything is first and foremost and paramount in everything. So just the clarification. But from a football standpoint, the reason this has become even more important is that one of the guys the Saints signed as an undrafted free agent, Joel Wilson, the rookie tight end out of Central Michigan, did not pass his physical. So Joel Wilson was out of Central Michigan, was a very good tight end for the Chippewas, played there for Jim McElwain, the former Florida coach, and this was one of the undrafted free agent signings that we looked at as very important because it was a very good player who many thought would be a drafted prospect at a position of great need for the Saints. Like, the two spots they didn't draft a player that they really needed help was linebacker and tight end. And so they go sign Joel Wilson as an undrafted free agent tight end, and we're going, okay, they think this guy could make the team. And so very disappointing that he didn't pass his physical. He had a season-ending ankle injury at Central Michigan in November. He was able to do some of the pre-draft workouts, which is why the Saints were comfortable signing him. But in bringing him in for the physical, the full physical now here as an undrafted free agent coming into rookie minicamp, he did not pass, so he did not sign with the Saints. That's not to say that won't happen at some point, but they did not sign him now because he didn't pass the physical. So the Saints have Juwan Johnson, Taysom Hill, who's not even really a tight end, but, listed as a tight end. Lucas Kroll, who was an undrafted free agent out of Pitt last year, who you stashed on the practice squad, and then Miller Forrestall, former Alabama tight end as well. Like, that's it. So you need Foster Moreau. You need him. It's not just a luxury. It's not just a nice story. It's not just the local guy getting to play for the local team. It's a position of real need for the Saints, and he's your best option. So the fact that he is apparently handling the diagnosis and the treatment and responding to it exceptionally well is awesome. Similarly, it's super important for this football team that Foster is getting healthy and going to be ready to go, hopefully for the start of the season, because they really don't have any great options after Foster Moreau at this point. So all that appears to be pointed in a very positive direction for Foster Moreau, thank God, and for the New Orleans Saints when they head toward the football season. All right, where are we? Oh, we're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen. Love telling you about South Point Volkswagen, man. I keep thinking about this so much. It was graduation season, and we always talk about this because there's always so many, recent graduates or upcoming graduates who get their first vehicle as a graduation present, either for high school or college, whatever it may be. And there's always this give and take. Your son or your daughter wants something that's stylish and fun to drive, and you want something that's safe and affordable. You can get things that are stylish. You can get things that are fun to drive. You can get things that are safe. You can get things that are affordable. But you don't always get all of those in one. You do when you buy a Volkswagen. The great German engineering, 9 IIHS top safety picks, the highest safety designation you can get. They are sleek, stylish, fun to drive. The great German engineering. And Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer is South Point Volkswagen. So if you're looking for that vehicle for you, for the family, or for that upcoming grad, shop South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highlander, SouthPointVW.com, Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer is South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? Okay, so after further review, our Monday shows is always brought to you by Relief Windows. We do have Doug Thompson joining us in 30 minutes. Duggar, of course, former Tiger pitcher, 1997 national champ, member of the LSU Sports Radio Network, was unfortunately on the call while we could all tune out or just leave the ballpark. He couldn't. He had to sit there and watch every painstaking out and every painstaking run. But we'll talk about LSU and the shortcomings right now with Duggar in about 30 minutes from right now. Let me knock out a break. When we come back, Muse will wrap up hour number 2 with Tigers and the Pros. Don't you move.
AFR.
Brought to you by HUDCO Roofing, HUDCORoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. HUDCO Roofing, HUDCORoofing.com. It is raining today. Walked in studio, it was raining. During this time, if you have rain which is causing leaks in your roof, let HUDCO come do a free, no-obligation roofing inspection. HUDCO Roofing, HUDCORoofing.com. I tell you every day, do business with someone you know. That's why I'm a partner with HUDCO. I don't just endorse them, I'm a partner. You want to email me directly, do it. Matt@HUDCORoofing.com. I'm happy to facilitate. I'll get you in touch with the people who you need to be in touch with to get that roof repair or that roof replacement going. Listen, when it rains, typically that's when people find out they got issues with their roofs. We'd love to come give you a free, no-obligation roofing inspection. We got people who all they do is work with insurance adjusters to get your claim approved. Let us explain your options and work with a great local company that's been around for more than 20 years, HUDCO Roofing. Do business with someone you know. That's HUDCO Roofing and HUDCORoofing.com.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $20,000 off new 22 Ram 1500 SCA trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory, all with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey, it's Matt Musso. Join me Monday through Friday for your daily update on LSU baseball with Musso at the Box, presented by New Orleans Flooring, wherever you get your podcast.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2. We'll head back to NOLA here in about 15 minutes from right now. Let's hear from some of the Saints rookies after rookie minicamp. Doug Thompson in 25 minutes. Right now, Muso. Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
Well, let's start with some news out of the National Football League. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports that linebacker Quan Alexander is set to make a free agent visit with the Pittsburgh Steelers tonight, Monday night. So the Steelers looking to add a little bit of depth on defense. Of course, we know Quan spent last season with the Jets, appeared in all 17 games, 12 starts, played 49% of New York's defensive snaps, and finished with 69 total tackles, 6 of those coming for a loss. Of course, previous 4 seasons, Buccaneers, and of course, Niners, and was traded to the New Orleans Saints in 2020 and played there through the 21 season. 30 years old, 95 career games for Quan. Been a really good career. See if it continues in Pittsburgh.
Gotta stay healthy, bro. That's all it is.
That has been the story ever since he was at LSU, though, right? I mean, it's just when he's on the field, he's great. Mike D-line, availability, the best ability.
Broke his leg against Florida. Or his ankle against Florida.
I remember that.
13?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Aaron Nola. Boy, we've seen this movie plenty in his career.
Oh, no.
7 innings,
No.
6 hits,
No.
4 runs,
No.
4 punch-outs.
No.
And the Phillies lost 4-0. So Aaron Nola got stuck with the loss off of what is a really solid outing for a Major League pitcher. He's now 3-3 on the year with a 4.53 ERA. Important to note, he's going to hit free agency after this year. So it's a money year for Aaron Nola. Maybe we don't have this line many more times.
Keep going. I'm going to come back to that.
Okay.
Keep going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alex Lang, our guy, did it again. Shutout inning of relief. Walked 2. Didn't matter, though. Struck out the next 2. 24 pitches, 12 strikes. Save number 7 on the season for the Langer. A 1.06 ERA. Couple minor league scores to get you here. We'll start in AAA, work our way down. Actually, no. Scratch that. We're going to start in single A. We're going to go with A.J. Levis because A.J. Levis was part of a combined no-hitter.
Okay.
I, for one, don't think combined no-hitters are special, but it's pretty cool that he was part of one. Inning and a third, shutout baseball, struck out 1, got his first hold of the season, and the Mighty Muscles no-hit the Tampa Tarpoons.
The
a lot
Mighty
of seafood.
Muscles.
A lot of seafood happening
The
right
Muscles
there.
and the Tarpoons.
And the Tarpoons. How about that? 3-0 Muscles over the Tarpoons. Double A ball.
Muscles.
Different Muscles. This is like the seafood mussel, though.
Muscles.
You should see their logo. Look up their logo. It's pretty good.
Okay.
The logo is good.
The Mighty Muscles.
The Fort Myers Mighty Muscles.
The Mighty Muscles. All right, let's see.
Greg Dykman for the Midland Rockhounds had a really solid day. They played doubleheader yesterday. 2 for 4 for Dykman in game 2. Sat out game 1. Scored a run. Dude, I told you, it's so good.
Look at your boy.
Scored a run, drove in a run as well.
What
Greg
is
Dykman.
that?
Well, it's a guy. It's a muscle with muscles coming out of its shell.
What is that?
Holding a bat. Isn't that awesome?
So the purple thing. So if you're listening, not watching, the logo. It's a purple circle. There is a thing holding a bat with one hand over his shoulder and like calling his shot.
Yeah.
With the other, it is a muscle-clad being, which I would assume this is a muscle.
Right.
But it looks like a heart.
It does, but that's the shell.
So behind it, the purple heart is the shell, which is opened.
Yeah.
So the background is a open shell, and that's the muscle, which a muscle is like a clam, which doesn't really look like it. It's just a blob of blob. And so they've given it definition with muscles and teeth and eyes and a hat.
It's so good. I like it a lot.
That is honestly not bad. And by way of a minor league logo, not bad.
Yeah.
In context of a minor league logo, not bad.
I love minor league mascots. They're the best. Wrap it up. Cam Sanders, inning in the third, shutout
Call
relief.
them up, you cowards!
Yep, inning in the third, shutout relief. No hits, as a matter of fact. Did walk 2, but struck out 2. ERA now sub-3 on the year for Cam Sanders as he toils away in AAA ball because the Cubs refuse to give him a shot. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Mother's Day has passed. Gentlemen, if you screwed it up, go make it good at Lee Michaels. Give her a gift, rather, in the red box. Thrill her with a gift in the red box, something that is sparkling and beautiful and sure to make you a hero and her love you forever and be thrilled with it. It's at Lee Michaels. And you might say to yourself, man, don't have the budget. No matter your budget, you're always going to get the Lee Michaels experience. And remember, because they have 9 locations, 2 in Baton Rouge, 9 in all, they buy from the finest diamond mines in the world. They can give you the best deals. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com. For Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Doug Thompson in 20 minutes. I want to talk about the Aaron Nola contract. I got 30 seconds. I don't know if I have time to do it here, but so this is his contract year. The Phillies picked up the option in his final year, which is this season. He's making $16 million this year. It was a $45 million deal he signed before the 2019 season. Nola, in many respects, played this brilliantly to set himself up for his next contract. I want to explain what I mean. Let me grab SportsCenter. We'll come back and I'll give you a quick thought on that.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, Michelli.com. 30 offices now across 11 different states. You can find them always online at Michelli.com. Remember, if you weigh or measure something they sell, service, rent the products you use to weigh and measure. If you need precision measurement devices calibrated, Michelli is who you need. Just go to the website, hit services, tap calibration. You can request a quote. You can ship your equipment to Michelli, or they can come pick it up for you. You probably don't need me to explain why accuracy matters the most, but if it's mass or torque or scale or force or temperature gauges, electronic or pressure gauges, this accuracy is money. They're ISO 17025 accredited. Check them out at Michelli.com. You can start your next career at Michelli.com. Just hit the careers tab. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. 76 years in business. Michelli.com.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. The system failed again. Not once, not twice, but 3 separate times. A man out on bond on a rape charge is accused of beating up his girlfriend. Despite an active arrest warrant, no one apparently bothered to check the system. And the suspect wasn't booked on the warrant despite making 3 separate court appearances. Find out what the district attorney had to say about this. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
What's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get him now before they go back on back order. Front to back boat service.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
All right, let's say ah.
Where'd my spotlight go?
Super weird, but we can take care of it.
Get in and get better at Patient Plus.
I'm Christine Lisi. Quarterback Dylan Raiola, the number one prospect in the 2024 recruiting class, told ESPN he has committed to Georgia. He's the son of former NFL offensive lineman Dominic Raiola. The process of gathering more information on the latest situation involving Grizzly star Ja Morant continues for the NBA. Morant, seen in a social media post over the weekend holding a gun, has been suspended by the Grizzlies from all team activities. 2 months ago, the league suspended Morant 8 games over a similar situation. Memphis's front office has a difficult task ahead dealing with the face of the franchise, notes ESPN's Bobby Marks.
You basically built this roster around him. He's the face of your franchise. He's everywhere. As this roster goes, you have to have basically Ja Morant as your main guy. So yeah, I mean there's the discipline part of it, but then there's the certainly the team part of it as far as how how you handle it.
Bobby Marks on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Stanley Cup playoffs, Kraken Stars. Game 7 tonight, 8 Eastern, ESPN TV. Winner gets Vegas in the West Final.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Make sure your family is well taken care of with life insurance. Protect your phones, laptops, and more with electronic device insurance. And cover your furry friends with pet health insurance.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. And Matt?
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. Talk a little LSU baseball with Doug Thompson, about 15 minutes. Gave you my full reaction to the weekend to open the show. Last hour, Teddy Cahill from Baseball America was here. And quite honestly, made me feel a lot better about LSU's prospects of being a national seed. I'll oversimplify it, but it effectively said, as long as LSU doesn't get swept this weekend by Georgia and go 0-2 in the SEC tournament, they're still going to be a national seed. You don't just undo all of the things that they've done to this point. And also, you look at the conference standings. Everyone's got tough weekends. So I came away feeling actually much better about that for LSU's prospects to get a national seed, which makes the path to Omaha clearer. But LSU still has issues to work through in their own right. We'll talk about that with Doug Thompson here in about 15 minutes. Okay, real quick. I want to let you hear from some of the Saints rookies who took part in minicamp this past weekend, including Brian Brzee, the first-round pick. But Muse and Tigers and the Pros mentioned something that I thought was interesting. So Aaron Nola is in a contract year. He's 29 years old, and back in 2019, before the 2019 season, Nola signed a 4-year, $45 million deal. So as part of that deal, he makes $16 million this year. The reason that's interesting, and Bregman, by the way, did the exact same thing. They both decided to sign a contract before an extension before they hit free agency. And essentially what that did was they probably took less on the front end to make more cumulatively over 2 deals. Here's what I mean. Aaron Nola signed a 4-year, $45 million deal before 2019. Had he just played out his rookie deal, not signed that extension, the second contract that he would have signed would have been far greater than 4 years, $45 million. But in signing that, it was kind of a bet on himself. Like, essentially saying, I'm going to delay my gigantic payday a couple of years, but in tandem, after I go crush it for 4 years under a really good deal, 4 years, $45 million, that next contract is going to be the big 9-figure deal that'll take me through my 30s. Now, the key to that is you got to perform over that 4-year deal, which clearly Aaron Nola has. He's performed well over this 4-year deal, and he's going to make bank at 29 years old or after the season when he turns 30 and sign that next contract, which when you combine the 4-year, $45 million deal and whatever the next deal is he signs, it should be greater than what he would have signed if he'd signed a longer-term deal and waiting until he became a free agent initially. Bregman did the same thing. Now, Bregman's deal that he got was remember correctly, I thought it was right at $100 million. I'm looking for it. Forgive me, I'm looking for it. And here it is. My apologies. Here you go. He signed a 5-year, $100 million contract. Bregman signed a 5-year, $100 million contract. And he'll be a free agent in 2025. So again, similar to what Nola did, decided to take, and it sounds ridiculous, say 5 years, $100 million taking less, but when you see guys in their prime signing $350 million, $500 million contracts, like when Bregman was an all-star early in his career, that's what he was trending toward. Now, he still played and performed very well, but this essentially, in signing that deal, is going to allow him very likely in 2025 to sign a second 9-figure contract. So in tandem, the 2 deals he would have signed should equal more than what he would have signed if he had just signed the one contract when he had initially hit free agency. So it was a calculated risk by both of those guys, and in their performance, they'll very likely pay off in the long term for it. Both are going to be super wealthy and successful and all that stuff either way, but both guys, in a sense, bet on themselves by taking a smaller contract earlier instead of waiting and getting the big payday, but in so doing also getting to a third contract quicker while they're still in their prime, allowing them to cash out twice instead of just once. All right, it's After Further Review. Monday show is brought to you by Relief Windows. Windows, door siding, Relief Windows, and ReliefWindows.com. Saints had rookie minicamp this weekend, and we spoke earlier today with Sean Fazende of Fox 8 New Orleans, and I asked him, he was there at rookie minicamp. I said, Sean, what was you walk out, there was the first thing you noticed? And he said, I had to grab my roster and said, who's 90? Number 90. Turns out that was Brian Brzee, who had this to say with reporters after at the media availability after Saints rookie minicamp.
Yeah, I mean, I think I definitely pride myself on being able to learn football, relatively easily. So that's been good for me. Just and once I get out there, if I do make a mistake, another thing, just not making the same mistake twice is something that I really focus on. So it's been good.
I love the way Sean said it. Rookie minicamp is almost like orientation. It's just the opportunity to go out there, to put on the uniform, to understand how a practice is structured and what the expectation is. So when you get to OTAs and ultimately training camp, you're ready to roll. Here was Dennis Allen on his first-round pick.
Yeah, look, he looks great, and we're excited about what we think he can bring. There's an athletic quality to his game that we like inside at the defensive tackle position. So yeah, he's 6'5", 310, somewhere in that area, and I like that.
So the Saints used their first 2 picks on defensive linemen. We knew that was the gigantic need. You had to get an interior player. They did, but they also went and got Isaiah Foskey, who was Notre Dame's all-time sack leader for perspective, broke a record held by Justin Tuck, who had a great NFL career. Most remember with the Giants when they won the Super Bowl there in 2011. Isaiah Foskey, one of the questions, though, is his stylistic fit, because there are different edge rushers. Zach Bond is the best example of this. Zach Bond was a really good pass rushing linebacker at Wisconsin. That's not exactly how the Saints defense is built, so Zach Bond has never really found a role. How does Foskey fit with the Saints?
I like the whole defensive style, like D-line style as well, because my position, you play 3 tech, 4-eye, 5-9. You basically play everywhere. Pretty much set you up for any matchup that they have you going against. You just pick your right position. Like off the edge type of defensive end, yeah, I feel like that's me, but like in this defense, I still can go inside. I'm 270 now, going inside. I can play that. I can come off the edge, still show off speed off the edge with the read options, stuff like that. But it shows off my athleticism.
At 270, coming off the edge, it reminds you a lot of Cam Jordan. Cam Jordan is listed at 6'4", 287. When you look at Foskey, he is, say this politely, Cam Jordan's the greatest sack artist in the history of the Saints organization. Foskey is a little more defined. Is that a good way to play? Not to say that Cam Jordan isn't, but Foskey looks like a defensive end out of Central Casting. So a little leaner, put it to you that way, but can play the run, can also get upfield and rush the passer. You got to love the fit. That's what they were looking for. You found the guy at this point in his career who reminds you tremendously of Cam Jordan, built like him, productive in college, even comes from a private school. So I guess Berkeley's not a private school, but I guess maybe behaves like it in some respects. Couple of other things from the weekend. We also got to see Jake Haener. Jake Haener, who quarterback coming from Fresno State. Much was made of his relationship with Drew Brees and how similar they were. Here's what Haener had to say.
I talked to him in January, got to meet him, sat there with him for a few hours, watched some tape with him. But, Drew's a legend here, and obviously Drew is Drew.
You got to look. He understands it. We've talked about it plenty. Grew up a Saints fan, a Drew Brees fan because of the similarities. War number 9. We know the whole 9. What about the transition on the field? Here's what Dennis Allen had to say.
Extremely intelligent. I think that would be the first thing that I would say. You can watch him out there. Fundamentally, he does a good job. He does a really good job of getting through his progressions, throws the ball with timing and accuracy. So a lot of qualities that you like at the quarterback position, particularly from the neck up.
Now, Haener was out there practicing. Kendre Miller wasn't. Miller's the running back from TCU, tore the knee ligament in the college football playoff semifinal, did not play in the championship game against Georgia. They knew that, comfortable with him working out, that he'd be ready for the season. What about goals for rookie minicamp? This is what Kendre Miller had to say.
For me, I just been doing my technique with steps and different things while the other running backs are going, kind of just trying to get the mechanics down of the different footwork, how it was from college to now. And, it's nothing too hard, but, I'm just kind of getting it down.
And one more is just Dennis Allen talking about his running back draft pick.
I don't expect him to miss anything when we get to training camp or anything like that. But I like the player in that I like his downhill running style. I think he's got really good feet. I think he's got really good contact balance. And he's got the speed to take it the distance if he breaks free in the open field. So there's a lot of qualities about him that I like. And look, I don't know that they used him as much out of the backfield at TCU, but yet I think he's got that skill set.
Kendre Miller did talk about that as well, being underrated as a pass catcher. Something we talked about. He only had about a dozen catches his entire college career. They just didn't use him like that. But the thing that I like, and I gushed about this draft class. I think the Saints did an awesome job. I love everything they did with it. The thing about Kendre Miller also is he's 20 years old. He's 20. We talk about the shelf life for running back. When they hit 30, they fall off a table. He's 20 years old, has not even turned 21. And for perspective, his 3 years at TCU, he had about the same number of carries that Leonard Fournette did in 2015. You want to talk about tread on the tires, an explosive young guy. He's it. Just get him healthy from that knee injury and ready to roll. So Saints had a rookie minicamp. First, a little appetizer before the offseason work really begins. Okay, it's after further review. Let me knock out a break. We'll come back. Doug Thompson, LSU Sports Radio Network, will join us. How can the Tigers start to possibly get this thing back on the track and tracks in the bullpen? Talk about it next. AFR.
AFR.
Man, I love telling you about the Renaissance Hotel. And as a matter of fact, my good buddy Cliff Nelson was telling me he was taking his mom to Tallulah for Mother's Day brunch this weekend. I tell you about the Renaissance Hotel, and Tallulah, the restaurant inside of the Renaissance, is fantastic. So the Renaissance Hotel is right there in Bluebonnet. Bluebonnet near I-10. It's a gorgeous hotel. It's a great place if you have guests coming in from out of town with all their guest rooms, but so much more with the amenities. I talk about the meeting space all the time. You want to have a large-scale event, they can host up to 500 people in their ballroom at the Renaissance Hotel. But remember Tallulah. Brunch. Every single day they serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Every day, 7 days a week, breakfast, lunch, and dinner at Tallulah. Weekends, brunch is fantastic. If you're looking for a lunch meeting and you always get into the where do you want to go, where do you want to go, I don't care, where do you want to go, mention Tallulah. Right there on Bluebonnet near I-10. It's Tallulah inside of the Renaissance Hotel.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $20,000 off new 22 Ram 1500 SCA trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory, all with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Hello, Samantha, dear, I hope you're feeling fine. And it won't be long until I'm with you all the time. But until then, I spend my money up right down on my last dime. Come on, live Baton Rouge. I'm ready, what you put me on through. Gotta send my love down the
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated.
Everybody love me. Everybody love me. Everybody love me. You ain't messing with my Dougie. Taste me how to Doug. Taste me how to Doug.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Unfortunately, Doug Thompson had to sit there and watch every single pitch, every single run, every single out, every single moment on Sunday. He's with us now. How are you, Duggar?
I'm well, Matt. I'm well. How are you? How's Drew? How's the baby? How's the wife? How's life?
We're good, man. Could have used a. There's no baby, by the way. Just to clarify, no baby. So you.
Well, I was
nobody
talking
missed.
about Drew.
I know you were talking about Drew. I know what you meant, but there were going to be people who heard you say that, like, "Wait, baby? No, we don't have a baby. Just baby Drew."
Got that up.
Hey, I'm good. I would have loved to see LSU close out yesterday. Let me just, when you're sitting there watching that and watching as many games you have as a player, collegiately, professionally, as a broadcaster, what's it like for you to sit there and watch that yesterday?
You know, I coach youth baseball, and of course, when they get 9, 10, 11, 12, it's tough for them to throw strikes. And it's tough to watch, you know, as somebody who's trying to not only coach him to throw strikes, but also somebody who's very hot and ready for the game to be over. It was similar. It was so similar. It was just like something just in my gut was telling me we need as many runs as possible because the vibe wasn't there. It didn't feel good. It seemed like nobody could really find a rhythm out there. There's a lot of different things that are affecting balls and strikes, but that's not really and walks are up everywhere. ERAs are up everywhere. And it has a lot to do with these umpires being rated after every game with the TrackMan information. But that has nothing to do with LSU's problems. When you have a 9-run lead, you got to throw fastballs down the middle until you don't have the 9-run lead anymore. It's down to 4, and then you can start going back to trying to execute a plan where you're bouncing pitches and throwing off speed early in the count. But we just simply didn't execute, and it was almost like as contagious as hitting can be, it was that contagious out of the bullpen yesterday.
2 Sundays in a row. It very much had that feel. How much of what unfolded yesterday is a credit to Mississippi State? How much of that is a blemish to LSU?
Well, Mississippi State wouldn't go away, and they sent out a kid. There was 18 pitchers yesterday, so forgive me that I can't remember his name. But it was one of the last left-handers for them, not number 4, because he was very good. His ERA, the last kid they threw out there was, his ERA is half that of the next closest guy on that staff. But the lefty before him threw strikes, and he kept he really just kept throwing strikes, and he wasn't being too tricky, and he was getting outs and keeping his team in the game. And they really started to swing the bats, and they sensed the moment as well, and they just did not relent. When we did start throwing strikes, they were hitting them. And a lot of the times they hit them, and it would find a hole. It was just it's almost like you could kind of tell. I felt that the game wasn't secure for whatever reason.
Yeah, Tyler Davis gave State 4 innings out of the bullpen yesterday of no run ball, of shutout ball, which was stunning to see.
Yeah, that's.
No, go ahead.
No, that's him.
Yeah. He's on Twitter at DT9Tiger. So, Doug, look, what's done is done. Everybody's reacted to it. The question is now, how do you salvage this? How do you get it back on track? So what are Jay Johnson, Wes Johnson, what are they doing this week specifically with these pitchers? What can you do at this point?
Well, there's nothing physically. I mean, it's not like you're going to change anything in their delivery and their mechanics. There might be a thing here or two, but here or there, but man, I think it's just challenging them to throw strikes. I mean, it's age old, it's cliche, but you have to throw strikes. You have to get ahead. You have to stay ahead. It's every level of the game. The team that throws the most strikes wins. Now, yesterday that didn't happen. Incredibly enough, Mississippi State only threw 52% strikes. LSU threw 59%. Which is very low. Usually you see these teams get close to the 70, 75% strikes in a game. But it was just poor execution, and it's like everybody felt the bear on their back. But the good news is, man, not everyone has to fix it. Only 3 or 4 guys need to fix it coming down into the playoffs. You don't. It'd be nice to have a staff of 11 people, but that's not usually what happens in college. Usually 6 or 7 guys really start to turn it up, and hopefully that happens. And listen, there's some bright spots. Javen Coleman threw well. His fastball wasn't quite there, but he competed. I thought Blake Money threw pretty well, and I thought he's thrown pretty well in all of his opportunities out. And he's got some starts under his belt on Friday night at the box. He's just not a guy that sat around in the bullpen his whole life. And I think there's other guys too that are that have the potential and have before stepped up. I thought Riley Cooper competed really well yesterday. So. Look, it's not all for naught, and we're going to roll out there and score 10 runs a game. So, it could be worse, I guess.
Well, you undeniably have Skeens, and Floyd has been really good of late, and you're going to hit the ball. Is that enough, and how far will that get him is kind of the question. But if I asked you, Doug, I need you to go get me 3 outs. I need you to go get me 3 outs. Who's the guy that you're giving the ball to? Who do you trust the most?
For me right now, I'd honestly have to look at their stats and what's the score, right? Is it a 1-run game?
It's a 1-run game in the 9th. I need 3 outs. Who are you giving the ball to?
I need strikes. I don't really care who it is at this point. No one's really separated themselves from anyone else at this point, right? Like you could name 9 guys that are in the same boat in my eyes. After Floyd or after Skeens and Floyd, you throw 9 or 10 guys in the same boat. For me, it would literally be about, all right, who is throwing the most over the course of the year? We have this information now. Who has thrown the highest percentage strikes first? Because I can't give a game away by just letting them reach the bases. And not only that, when you're not throwing strikes, you're also falling behind 3-0 and 2-0 and 2-1, and you're letting guys take almost free swings up there. And that's what happened this weekend. We not only walked 9 guys yesterday and with 2 hit by pitches, but I don't know this number, but we fell behind 3-0, 2-0, 3-1 a lot.
Doug Thompson's with us here for a couple more minutes. Did you ever play in Athens? Forgive me for not knowing that off the top.
Oh yeah, that's where 1997 we were 18 or 19-0, and I started the first game that we lost. And Skip told the team after the game, guys, listen, it's not your fault. We weren't really going to go 57-0, but today it's my fault. I started the wrong pitcher.
Oh.
Yeah. He said I was still at the airport looking for my luggage. I never showed up, and he's right. I only pitched 2 or 3 innings and lost the first game of the year to go 19-1. But yes, I have pitched in Athens.
I didn't know that, Duggar. My apologies. I promise I wasn't setting you up.
Also called a series in Athens at some point for some reason.
What do you think about so that park it's an oddball park, and Georgia's a weird team this year because they beat the good teams and they lose to the bad teams. Do you have any thought about this series ahead as far as matchups or anything in particular with that place against that team?
Yeah, they better go ready to play ball because Georgia's got plenty of incentive and motivation to try to get that series at home. It's the last series of the year. You know, Sunday's going to be senior day and yada, yada, yada. They're going to be packed. It's going to be packed everywhere where LSU goes because that's who LSU is now. Everybody wants to see Paul Skeens, and everybody wants to see their team beat LSU, the big bad LSU with Cruz and White and Dugas and Morgan, and it goes on and on. So they're going to get the best bolt that Georgia has to offer. Georgia plays big in big games. They seem to lay down in series that, that they don't, I guess, feel like they have to scratch as hard. But it's going to be a battle up there in Athens, and LSU better go prepared to play. And it'd be great to finish strong and feel good about the 8 seed or the top 8 seeds, so you can go to Hoover and maybe play around with the pitching a little bit, not maybe focus so much on winning. You let Skeens eat. You let Ty Floyd go out and get his 5 innings. But after that, it's just, everybody's going to get an inning, and we got to figure this out before we get to the playoff. It'd be nice for Coach Johnson, Wes, and Jay to have that luxury when they get to Hoover.
Would you? So that's interesting, Doug, because I'm kind of the belief I'd love to see Skeens have the opportunity to skip a start. Like if you went this weekend to Georgia, let's say you won the series or swept it, you've locked up a national seed. Would you think there's merit in giving Skeens a week off before regionals?
I don't think so. I mean, they've been really protective of his pitch count. He's gone 6 or 7 innings every start. And listen, this guy's not 6'6", 195. I mean, if there's a dude that can go out there and grab all 20, 22 starts that he's going to, be slated in for if he wants to win the national championship, it's Paul Skeens. And then you risk, disrupting the rhythm, right? I mean, he's on a rhythm right now, and I mean a rhythm and everything he does. His day after his start, there's a routine. The day after that, there's a routine. The day after that, and then he gets his bullpen, and then all the way to his start, right? So if you take off, I don't know, I guess you could throw a bullpen or a live BP, but you just risk a lot of things. I mean, he is cooking. Look, I mean, this could easily go down as the greatest season in the history of LSU baseball. But it may be one of the best college baseball seasons ever.
Yeah, the only reason I asked Jay that question after the Alabama series when he came on the show, not directly about skipping a start, just about load management, and he kind of alluded to something like that, like where they might take it easy in Hoover if they had the opportunity to do so. So I
could see something even like 80 pitches or 75 pitches. He's coming out in the fifth inning, no matter what.
Yeah.
You could see something like that where they just let him go out there and get a lather going.
Yeah.
But yeah, I look. You got to protect number 20 at all costs. I hope they have some type of a bubble that he can float around in until next Friday in Athens.
He's Doug Thompson. Hey, man, we were texting earlier, and you're doing good work with the Louisiana firefighters and first responders, the Louisiana Firefighters Foundation. Give us a little bit of a skinny. What you got going on?
Really cool organization. They started about 5 years ago. Their first mission was to provide more training to current Louisiana firefighters and first responders. There just wasn't much to offer. Louisiana was 50th in the country when it came to offering continued education, formalized training to their firefighters and first responders. So now they house that training out off Airline Highway at the St. George Fire Department in a state-of-the-art training facility. And recently, I'd say in the last 8-10 months, they've kicked off a new initiative to use some of those people that they've trained. First of all, they've trained thousands of firefighters and first responders at this point over the last 4 or 5 years. They've done an incredible job, including a conference that they have here. They had it at LaBerge this year. 350 firefighters from across the state came in to listen to just top-notch training and speakers. It was a great event. But the new initiative, they take some of those first responders, literally people who are paramedics and on the back of fire trucks, and they're using those people in schools and businesses to train on life-saving skills. I mean, there's a couple things that'll kill you before that ambulance gets there in that 3 to 6 minutes or so that it takes, and that's your heart's gonna stop or you're gonna bleed out. And they go and they train these people at no charge to prepare for that, and they leave supplies behind. They'll go to a school and they'll look at their AEDs and they'll advise them on how many AED machines they should have. They'll help them find the means to purchase, or they'll advise them to purchase. It's just a really, really cool organization right here in Louisiana. They have so many cool goals in the future, one of which is to build the Louisiana Firefighters Hall of Fame. There's not one right now, but that's what they're eyeballing up. But anyway, go check them out at LouisianaFirefighters.com. It's just a great group to be a part of. Matt, we need to go to lunch so I could tell you a lot more about it.
No, I'd love to. LouisianaFirefighters.com. Just spell it out, LouisianaFirefighters.com. So if you're watching with us here, there's the link to the website right there. There's a donate button there at the top as well if you want to contribute. So, man, definitely shout out to all of our first responders. I mean, Doug Rice said this a few weeks back. I don't know. I think we had a call or maybe someone who was listening to the show maybe texted and had like in their link or whatever that they were a firefighter, and they were just absolutely like just crushing me about something, and they were dead wrong, and so I called them out on it. But I was like, but seriously, much respect to you, like firefighter. I mean, you're running into a burning building, saving lives and stuff. Like complete utmost respect. I got a cousin that's a firefighter, so absolutely, man. Louisiana.
Well, I'm not doing that, but I'm helping bring some awareness to people. A lot of people think firefighters put out fires, but I tell you, they get called for all of it. They get called for medical calls. Actually, they probably deal with more sick people every day than they do burning fires here in our Baton Rouge area.
That's true, right? I mean, every time an ambulance is called out, a fire truck has to go as well, correct?
That's right.
Yeah.
Every single time. That's right.
LouisianaFirefighters.com, LouisianaFirefighters.com if you want to learn more. Duggar, we appreciate it, man. Thanks for the time as always. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll be out at Miracle League. I'm sure I'll see you at Traction.
Absolutely, man. You're the man, and y'all have a great week.
All right, buddy. We'll see you. That's Doug Thompson, former Tiger great, member of the LSU Sports Radio Network. Really cool. Doug's doing work with the Louisiana Firefighters Foundation, so happy to help that. Doug coaches his son's team, and so on Tuesdays they practice out at Traction. So on Tuesdays, my son Drew is has Miracle League games, so I leave the show, go over to Traction for Drew's Miracle League game, and I always see Doug like throwing fungos or hitting fungos or whatever to the kids. So we chat usually over there every Tuesday. So always good to catch up with the Duggar. All right, let me knock out a quick break. Come back. A ton to get to as well. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. Actually, I have my preseason AC tune-up schedule. Tell you that all the time, y'all. Don't miss out on the opportunity to make sure your AC is in tip-top shape for the coming warm weather. Here was a 5-star review that came in with a tip of the cap to Cody. It said, Cody was very professional, well-prepared, knowledgeable, very efficient. He took care of my situation. Just one of thousands of 5-star Google reviews that you'll read whenever you visit River City's 1 Hour Air. Go look them up on at Google for the 5-star Google reviews. More than double the amount of 5-star Google reviews of the next closest competitor, because they've been doing it for 40 years. And they've been doing it better than anyone. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. Look for the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. They'll always come out, and they'll never charge you extra nights, holidays, or weekends. 752-0001.
Bayou Ford has $15,000 off, plus 0.9% APR for 60 months on all new 22 Ford F-150 SCA trucks, and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory, all with Bayou's 1 million-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Turn my music high, 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 yeah. Sure I do. I'm from the streets where the hood can swallow on me. Bullets will follow on me. There's so much that you could run the slalom. And cops comb this top to bottom. They say that we are prone to violence, but it's home sweet home. Where personalities clash and chrome meets chrome. Prices up and down like this Wall Street.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Do have a little bit of breaking news here. Florio over at Pro Football Talk has this, if you want to check it out. You can do breaking news, yeah. Breaking news. Yeah, there we go. The Saints have signed 3 players, including James Washington, who we talked about earlier today. And they have cut 2 other players. So Saints rookie minicamp was this weekend. Part of rookie minicamp was that you had tryouts, like we talked about. You had some players that were there, not necessarily rookies, but even I know Zach Heflin is a player who had played a defensive line with the Packers, who played recently in the XFL. Sean Fazende told us earlier today that the expectation was Heflin would be signed. But here you go. We know the Saints added veteran receiver James Washington. We talked about that earlier in the show. If you're not familiar, Washington was a second-round pick out of Oklahoma State. Spent 4 seasons with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Little used as a rookie, but his next 3 years in the league, years 2, 3, 4, were very productive. Signed as a free agent last year with the Cowboys. Foot injury. He played just 2 games. The foot injury cost him the rest of this year. So a 27 years old, an affordable veteran who brings some experience and some skins on the wall to a receiving room with a lot of bodies and a lot of expectations, but not a lot of certainty. So that makes some sense. But here's the other decisions that the Saints made. The Saints have signed defensive back Adrian Fry and running back Ellis Merriweather, and they waived wide receiver Cy Barnett and defensive back Vincent Gray. So 2 of the players there that they had signed as undrafted rookie free agents, Barnett and Gray, they've been waived. Fry participated as a tryout player this past weekend. And this is like, you're starting to see this more and more commonly. Now, to be very clear, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Adrian Fry is going to make the Saints roster or become a starting player or contributor, but you're seeing this more and more commonly. Fry was a 5th-year player. He was a guy that took advantage of the COVID year, played in 51 career games with 24 starts at corner, nickel, safety, played all over the secondary, and played a ton of football in the Power 5. So some of those guys who just have been around longer are going to pop a little bit more. So was also a special teams player, a core special teams player at Texas Tech. And if you want to make an NFL roster as an undrafted guy, typically it's going to be because you're able to provide depth and then great value as a special teams contributor. So someone worth keeping an eye on. And then Merriweather is a running back who played collegiately at UMass for 3 seasons, from 2020 to 2022. Was seldom used, but in 2022 he led the team with 575 yards. So not a super productive player during his time, but didn't have to be a very heavily used player. But just 3 years in college at UMass, the Saints have have taken a flyer on another running back. So again, just to recap really quickly, the big one was receiver James Washington, who the Saints have signed. They brought him in for a visit. They signed him. They've also signed defensive back Adrian Fry, running back Ellis Merriweather, and waived wide receiver Cy Barnett and defensive back Vincent Gray. So added a receiver and a DB, waived a receiver and a DB, added a running back. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're with us. Love telling you about the aesthetic medicine and anti-aging clinics of Louisiana. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. A semaglutide, a lot of the rage right now. You can get it at the aesthetic medicine and anti-aging clinics of Louisiana. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online, theantiagingclinics.com. Mostly, though, if you want to look and feel like your younger self, they can help. Maybe it's hormone replacement therapy. Maybe that's if it's testosterone, if it's Samorelin, growth hormone, things that contribute to the way we feel. I think sometimes people may think, PEDs and things like that. No, these are things that your body naturally produces that as we age, your body produces less of them. And you can safely and affordably supplement yourself to get you to healthy levels, to get you feeling better. Wake up with energy. Sleep through the night. Sleep better at night. Burn fat. Build muscle. Have more motivation to get in the gym. Just overall better mood and energy. All things that contribute to how we feel. They can help. One simple blood test can let you know if you're a candidate. TheAntiAgingClinics.com. TheAntiAgingClinics.com. So we've spent a lot of time today talking LSU baseball, as you might imagine. It was an atrocious series loss. If there's one positive to take away from today, I would say it was our conversation with Teddy Cahill from Baseball America, who said, short of being swept by Georgia and going 0-2 in Hoover, LSU is still going to be a national seed, which is very reassuring because the path to Omaha running through Alex Box Stadium is certainly clearer. I mean, I know that there's been a lot of the avalanche of negativity today, and I understand it. I mean, however, if you feel disappointed, if you feel embarrassed, if you feel frustrated, angry as a fan, like all of that is justified. You should. I told you last week I would have a very different tone today if LSU lost to State. There is no excuse for LSU to lose a home series to Mississippi State. The reality is, though, when you play a home regional, a team isn't going to be able to pitch backwards. You know, whoever plays that 2-3 matchup, they're going to have to throw their ace. You're not saving an ace potentially to go against Paul Skeens. Even if you did, that's probably not going to go well for you. So LSU's going to win a regional. Could they? Sure, they could lose. I mean, we saw it in 2014. It was an LSU team that had Aaron Nola, Alex Bregman, lost a home regional. Houston came out of the losers bracket, beat LSU twice. Does it happen? Yes. Is it likely? No. The bigger question is, can you get through a super regional round? And I don't want to see this team go on the road in a super regional round. I want to see Paul Skeens on the bump Friday, win game 1, do your damnedest with Ty Floyd and a great offense to try to win game 2 and punch your ticket to Omaha, and then hope you find some magic there over a week and a half in the Midwest. But that feels like a huge ask at this point. At this point, it's, hey, go on the road to Athens, win a series, lock up a national seed, get a little mojo, hopefully going for the postseason, and see what you could do. But if you want all of our baseball content, you can get it today on demand, 1045ESPN.com. However you get your podcast, just search After Further Review, and, of course, the After Further Review YouTube channels as well. One more. We'll let you hear what Jay Johnson had to say. Can you play number 6, please? No, I'm sorry. I want to play number 9. Jay was asked about extending Javen Coleman. I've been asked about this a bunch as well. I think as everybody wants to know, like, is he still on a pitch count? How do you extend him? What's the plan? Here's what Jay said after the game.
It just depends. He did against Alabama and did a good job, and then had a good inning against Auburn, but then did not recover well after that inning, and we had to get him out of the game. I thought he competed with what he had. I don't think he's fully close to being what he's capable of being yet, but it's good enough for our team right now and good enough to get outs. So I was really proud of him today. And it's an offensive day. It's hot. Ball's jumping out of here, and hold them to 1 run. Really good performance, and we need it.
Coleman threw 50 pitches, 2 2/3. I totally understood pulling him when they did. His velo had come down. There was a runner on third. They had Guidry up, and Jordan, the cleanup hitter, was at the plate. And Coleman's a lefty, Jordan's a righty, so you bring in Guidry to go righty. I get why they did it there. I mean, Coleman wasn't coming back for the 4th inning anyway, so making that call there made sense. But if Javen Coleman can give me nine outs, give me 3 clean innings on Sunday, that's appropriate at this point. I mean, you need guys who can throw strikes and get outs, and he's been one of them who's been able to do it. All right, it's After Further Review. Final break of the show. We'll come back, do some Otter locks. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon, get it done. Had a chance to visit with Gordon earlier today, as a matter of fact. We recorded our latest episode of the Rosters to Riches podcast. Gordon was our guest. That episode will drop in a few weeks. But it's always great to sit and visit with G and understand more and more about the person, the man who has committed so much of really his adult professional life to helping people in Louisiana who need to be represented. If you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. Get Gordon and get it done. You can always call 888-8888, 888-8888. And you're calling a man who's a good Christian man, a good human, a good member of our community, a good husband, a father, and someone who wants to help the people of our community. It's one of the reasons he's done so much in NIL. It's why you have the Gordon Gives, the charitable arm of the law firm there as well. I'm proud to stand by and endorse Gordon McKernan, injury attorney. So if you need an attorney, call Gordon McKernan at 888-8888. You know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
over MSRP at Corval Toyota in Opelousas. That's right, don't pay over MSRP. There's no markups, no games. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt Palmer. After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Down the stretch, we come final segment here on a Monday edition of AFR, presented by Relief Windows. Of course, Windows, door, siding, Relief Windows, and reliefwindows.com. One thing left to do. Find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and often incomprehensible, the Ottfather himself, Jimmy Ott. Otter, how are you?
What's going on, Matthew? How's your weekend?
Good weekend. Nice Mother's Day yesterday. Got a little pool day and, treated Mama well. So all good.
Good.
Both Erica and Mama Scone, yes.
There you go. Good job. Good job. So,
hey, man, I heard y'all are on the North Shore today?
Yeah. I got Dan Canterbury over here.
Heck yeah.
6 o'clock, he's going to come on the top of us and tell us how to fix all the LSU's pitching problems. So we got that done.
I'll have my pen and paper ready.
Yeah, you and some other folks across the street. But we're at the Six Rings Baseball Academy. So, indoor cages, two separate buildings with the with the pitching mounds and the ball machines and all that stuff. So, developing baseball and softball players over here in the North Shore.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, man. Yeah. What are we looking at tonight?
All right, a couple of games. First, we start off with the low-hanging fruit. We're going against the A's.
Okay.
The Arizona Diamondbacks, Merrill Kelly. Remember Merrill Kelly? He started that last game, the championship game of the World Baseball Classic. Kind of, I don't know, contributed to a little bit slower of a start, but he has recaptured his form now. Like the way the Diamondbacks just took 2 out of 3 over the weekend. Now they go to play the A's. Texas just took 3 out of 4 in Oakland. The only game they lost on Friday night, they blew a 2-run lead in the 10th inning. But Arizona, pretty cheap price on the run line, -1.5, -129, with Kelly going against a not so great pitcher for the Oakland A's. We're going to a hot pitcher in the American League, though. This is the early game.
Okay.
Just getting ready to start in Fenway. The Red Sox were the number 1 ROI team in baseball. They're not even in the top 5 now because they were favored in all 3 of the games. They got swept at home by St. Louis. St. Louis now have won 6 of 7. They're a team that kind of back right now. But Seattle, with their great pitching, this young kid Kirby, first rounder out of Elon. How about this? 35 strikeouts and only 3 walks this year. So he is on fire, laying a little bit of a price at -120 on the road against the struggling bats for the Red Sox. We're taking Seattle. Seattle early and the Diamondbacks on the run line late.
All right, Otter.
1 minute remaining.
Under 60 seconds. We got anything to look forward to for the NBA yet? Any future looks?
It's funny. The Eastern Conference is -120 over the Western Conference. Series prices: Boston -480 over Miami. Denver -150 over the Lakers in the series. So the home teams are favored, but the more competitive series is figures to be on that side. Tough weekend for the NBA. They've missed only get 1 of the 4 possible Game 7, and that was a disaster. John Morant, I don't know. The cat's in a bag and the bag's in the river. Denver ain't getting a call against the Lakers in that series.
Game Time with Jimmy Ott follows us in Baton Rouge. If you're not in Baton Rouge, online at 1045ESPN.com. Thank you, Otter.
Thank you, Matt.
All right, man. Have a great show. We're just about to get on down the road. Muse, Paulie, I appreciate it. Remember, if you miss anything, on demand, 1045ESPN.com or the After Further Review YouTube channels. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
Brought to you by Shawbills. Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. ShawbillsTire.com. ShawbillsTire.com. If you need tires, get the best tires on the road for the cheapest price possible. Do it at Shawbills. And most importantly, they're always going to treat you like family. ShawbillsTire.com. ShawbillsTire.com. Go to the website. You'll see it right there on the homepage. You want to schedule service? Hit the Schedule Service tab. Screen will pop up. Pick the location. That's simple. If you want to shop tires, you can do that as well. The thing that I would stress most, though, is go to the website and hit the promotions tab. You'll see all of the promotions they have, specific promotions individually right now, and you can see everything they have to offer. If you need to buy tires, don't put it off. Don't worry about price. Don't push it while they're threadbare and you're sitting there like, looking at the metal from the wheel coming through the tire. Just go to Shawbills. ShawbillsTire.com. For more than 50 years, it's Shawbills, where we keep you rolling. ShawbillsTire.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.